Officials report that the attacks have caused significant damage and casualties across multiple regions. Israeli airstrikes have intensified in Gaza, resulting in dozens of deaths, including civilians sheltering in a repurposed school.
A U.S. and Israeli-backed NGO, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, plans to begin aid distribution despite opposition from Hamas.
French President Emmanuel Macron has dismissed a viral video showing his wife Brigitte appearing to shove him in the face during their arrival in Vietnam.
The video, which circulated widely on social media, sparked speculation about the couple's relationship.
President Donald Trump has agreed to delay a proposed 50% tariff on European Union goods until July 9th, allowing more time for negotiations.
Trump announced the delay during a Memorial Day event.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Yeah, it should be good coffee.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Why'd that picture hang up so long? Moving on? I don't know.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
It's so loud.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Are you ready to laugh? How about I turn my mic off and then you could just laugh? Oh, good morning. It is morning. It doesn't feel like morning. It feels like it's one long night. And look, it stopped on its own. Today is Tuesday, right? These Monday holidays screw me up. Tuesday, May 27th, 2025. Looks like summer is finally starting to kick in over here, taking a change because we had a cold week or so. Rainy, cold week, but now summer's going to kick in. Are you excited? I am. One last summer, right? That's what I keep telling myself every year. One last summer. Maybe I get one more summer. Forgot to mention this yesterday. Why do I have to mention everything, right? Because it's an interesting story. That's why. And I need something to talk about on this dopey little whatever it is. So, what was it, Saturday night, Sunday night? What day is today? It's Sunday night. Got a news bulletin come across that in my neighborhood, somebody found a body that I must have forgot that I stashed the body there. They found a body in a swimming pool. The guy was taking a cover. He was opening up his pool for the season. Memorial Day weekend, pulling the cover off the pool. And there's a kid, a young man, just in with the green water. That's going to take some cleaning up. Listen, that's not just a little chlorine. That's actually call the cops and what the hell's going on here? It's just right around, just down the block here. And nobody knew how the kid, keep going, a young man in his 20s, early 20s, got in there. Now, a big police scene, as you might imagine, like who killed somebody and threw him in the pool. Well, how else would you get there? Turns out, now the story is, this kid's on the spectrum. Wait, no, he's not on the spectrum. I'm sorry. He's schizophrenic, or was schizophrenic. And his father went missing, and he freaked out and couldn't handle it, and went driving. Now, this is the first red flag to me. What is a schizophrenic person doing driving? That doesn't add up. But then he drove off William Floyd Parkway into the woods trying to, I guess, kill himself or crash the car into trees or whatever, and missed. And if you know William Floyd Parkway, you got to have really bad aim to miss a tree. Because it's nothing but, it's like driving through the forest. But then he got out and ran away, and somehow ended up underneath the cover of this pool that had not been open, and the cover was still on tight. How does that happen? None of it makes sense, right? Does it make sense to you? I'm just, because people don't even want to hear questions about it. Like, what do you care? Because it doesn't fucking make sense. That's one. Make it make sense. A kid climbs under a pool cover and then tightens the pool cover back up. And then in the middle of winter, mind you, this happened 6 months ago, he's supposedly been swimming in this green algae water. Now, maybe I've just been around too many murders. But it doesn't pass the sniff test. Nobody ends up in your pool with a pool cover on tight. Right? Speaking of schizophrenics, we have schizophrenics waiting to come in. We're going to talk about Nazis and the Holocaust. You know that Holocaust? I'm thinking all these people are saying the Holocaust didn't happen. What they're really saying is somebody is the greatest screenwriter or storyteller ever. Imagine, I mean, you have to have the depravity of Stephen King. Imagine making that shit up. Like, and who made it up? If they're gonna claim the Holocaust was, phony, somebody had to come up and make up all that stuff. What kind of dark mind do you have to make up all that stuff? Listen, folks, the Holocaust happened. We'll talk about that in the second hour. Robert J. Wolf will be here. He's got a book which is a true story. Excuse me, little hiccup there. A true story of his family's ordeal in Hungary, getting swooped up, and brought to Auschwitz, and escapes and all that kind of stuff. Good book about something that happened, although we're still seeing people are saying it didn't happen. Anyway, so we're going to talk Nazis, and we'll see what his take is on the American Nazis. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this about America, but kind of full of Nazis right now. And where'd they all come from? My suggestion is that we're always here. One person gave them license to come out of their Nazi closet and goose step all over, and that's why they're here. Anyway, let's all get ketamined out and mind bloomed, and we'll reconvene in a moment with comedians, I guess.
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
I don't like the whole meditation thing. I think he said meditation. He might have said medication, but meditation sounds like kumbaya, and I'm not into kumbaya. Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now are the chief Nazi correspondent, Stephen, Nazi Ortiz. Now, I'm just thinking, now that you're no longer sitting in a chair, you can't be the sitcom anymore. You're gonna have to, with the crutches, you're gonna have to be Stephen the Hobble Con.
I got grounded from walking for a couple days, so.
Oh, grounded.
I see that mark on your head.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
I
Also,
decided to get in a fight with a wolf.
can we say hello to the other people before we start hearing your little sad, violent
Why?
story? All right. Our chief Nazi correspondent from Ponatuxie, Pennsylvania, somewhere, Ron Kane, who is obviously off today because no, he's working from home with his little pump whatever wire or hose, and somebody who knows nothing about Nazis and Holocaust, G.D. Fenderson.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you feeling guilty because you celebrated Memorial Day with a cookout and had a great time and not once mentioned a fallen soldier? What?
No.
Me either. Who would do that and then feel guilty about it?
Guilty?
I have no clue. MindDogTV.com.
First of all,
No
I didn't
clue,
have a
no
cookout.
guilt. Yeah,
I
no
didn't have
clue, no guilt. Support your local America and enjoy the suffering.
No stinking guilt here. But I didn't do that. I didn't have a cookout. What would I have a cookout for? Me? Because the kids are. I think they went to some petting zoo or something. What am I going to do? I'm sitting here working on a video about comedians. Now,
in memory of
what?
Go ahead.
Why you putting your big fucking Amish head? Why you putting your big Amish?
So, Stephen, you were trying to open your third eye. Is that what it does? Is a meditation exercise? You're trying to open your third eye and you missed?
Yeah, I tried, but I missed.
What happened? Really? You fell face forward? Listen, if you're gonna fall backwards.
What's the point of having a girlfriend if you can't fall on her to break your fall with her? That's the problem with AI girlfriends.
I know you fall right through them. I know. The hardware got me.
So this incapacitates you now. You can't drive, right? Because you're still a little, little confused.
I didn't go to the hospital, but I for sure got a concussion. I hit the wall. Everything went dark for I don't know how long. It was fuzzy, then sparkly, and then I was all like sweaty and gross, and I was like heavy. It was bad.
It was like having sex. It was like having sex for you.
Did it cross your mind to run through the neighborhood and find a pool that hadn't been opened yet and just climb under the cover?
You know, I thought about it, but my legs didn't translate the message. So,
clearly, Matt, I have a question. It's not a question. It's an observation. Just because somebody was schizophrenic and driving does not mean they had a license to drive.
That's a good point. But it would be surprising to me that somebody would give him the car keys. Or I mean, if you're schizophrenic, I mean, I don't know if you know this about schizophrenia, but it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but if his father went missing, and his father was the one who kept the checks and balances in his life, and his father's the one who kept the car keys away from him, kept him away from the matches and the knives and stuff, and all of a sudden his father's not there, who's to say that, without the checks and balances, he decided to go swimming, looking for his father under the tarp.
Excellent deductions there,
Sherlock. It's not funny. Don't laugh at that. Don't laugh at that. I'm trying not to laugh.
Well, but what better way? But what better way to honor Phil Robertson of Duck Dynasty fame, though? Honestly.
Yeah. Now, Phil is saying, "Who needs health care when you got God?" Apparently, he does. We could have used a little more health care or whatever. I never watched Duck Dynasty, not a second of it. But I know he was there's a lot of stupid people who get rich. This is my point. You don't have to be like a genius to get rich, right? This guy got rich off a duck call. Is that
Didn't we have a guest on the show who was affiliated with Duck Dynasty?
Yeah. Who was affiliated with what?
Duck Dynasty. We had a guest. I don't know if they were like a writer or they appeared on it or something.
I don't remember. I don't think so. I doubt it.
Because I have no real interest in Duck Dynasty, but I seem to remember talking to someone about it.
I used to be a writer on that show, but they kept saying they fired me because they kept saying my incest storylines wouldn't play to that audience.
I thought they was questioning your spelling. It's like, no, it's not Dick Dynasty. It's Duck Dynasty. Damn it, Ron. You got the wrong plot.
I pitched an episode where they offered a new anal duck call. And they didn't like that one either because it kept getting stuck in the works. So,
Anal duck call. What
They
the
also
fuck?
had a vaginal duck call. Kept going queef, 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 queef instead of quack, quack.
Yeah, instead of
That
quack,
sounds like
quack.
a Beneficial commercial. At Beneficial, you good for more. Probably dating myself there.
I have a question for you comedians and Steven. No, I'm just Steven. I have a question for you comedians. I was watching a TikTok video, and this comedian who is very popular, very, very, very popular, way more popular than I'll ever be in 100
Matt Rife?
years.
It was Matt Rife, wasn't it?
I'm not mentioning him by name.
Matt Rife
did a joke, and as soon as he came three words into the joke, maybe 4 words, I said to myself, he stole that joke from this other comedian.
Dave Landau.
Like a few years, like I saw this comedian do this. This comedian was doing this like 10 years ago on Comedy Central. This other comedian is stealing. He's on Comedy Central and stealing the joke. And I knew exactly where he was. As soon, like I said, four words in, I'm like, "Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me!" And
was it word for word?
Hold on. Can you tell us the joke, and we can determine its origins?
I can tell you that I can do my best. It's not okay.
Just give us the idea of what the joke is, and
okay. The comedian says, you can tell the status of your relationship by how you're saved in your girlfriend's cell phone. That's how it starts off. And
I think I've heard this one too.
So the origins can't be older than like 20 years old, right? That's about.
The first I heard of it was like maybe 10 or 15. It was maybe 8 years ago, because I've been doing comedy for almost 11 years. And I'd already been doing, because as soon as I saw it live. I saw the guy do it live. And as soon as he did it, I went, oh my wife and I, we loved it. We loved the joke. And we went, and I said, damn, that is so good. I wish I could. I said, but I could never do that or a variation because it's obvious where I stole it from or what the inspiration is. But I really liked it. And I really wished, it's one of the things I really wish I could have done it. Now, the thing is, the guy who stole it, I'm going to say stole in quotes, because it's possible that he reached out to the comedian and say, I want to do this. I'm going to tweak it just a little, and he has permission. I don't know that he stole it. But I've seen this comedian on TikTok. I've seen him like maybe do 30 or so shorts. This is the biggest laugh he ever got of the ones I've watched. The biggest and the most sustained and the most frequent. Like he'll do like a 1 minute short and get like maybe 1 or 2 laughs after like 30 or 40 seconds of setup. You know, he'll set it up for like 30 or 40 seconds. He'll go a long time setting it up before he gets his laughs. This is the first one where he got a laugh on the setup within like 4 seconds of this, as soon as he started. The only one I've ever seen, and it's somebody else's joke or premise.
Wow, I'm twilled I'm twilled and shocked to find out that comedians would actually steal a joke.
Somebody got a word of the day calendar.
What, twilled? No, I just Googled it and it said this guy Twill.
I'm going to use this today on the show.
Says the guy's name is Twill, according to Google. The guy who sold it, or at least the guy who's doing well with that joke on TikTok. I don't know. I never heard of Twill, so that can't be who GD's referencing.
No,
he's not a very popular comedian, but this is somebody who's getting called out for it.
No, we're talking 2 black comics, so they're both relatively funny.
Relatively.
Yeah, for black guys.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, you know, they get like 3/5 credit just for being black, and then they're like 40%.
Even laughing.
3/5. That's like 60%.
Yeah,
now,
it's like,
good for him.
It's like 60%. It's pretty damn.
You kind of insulted Stephen there, and I have to. I realize, yes, and not like this is the
Well,
first.
how did I insult Stephen? I was talking about this black guy.
Because you said comedians and Stephen before.
Oh, that he knows I love him. He knows. He knows.
I just want to address my shortcomings towards bullying Stephen.
We're not talking about your dick, so let's not bring up your shortcomings.
I just want to come clean. Can I come clean?
No, you can't.
That's a little dirty. Maybe I need
your diet. It depends on your diet.
Yeah. I know I'm a bully because yesterday I was mowing the lawn and I'm thinking, you know what?
Especially you're going along and threw some kid under a pool and the police found him.
And I chopped up a disabled kid while I ran him over with the mower. And I thought, well, that's kind of like I treat Stephen. I shouldn't. I'm being a little bit of Howard Stern guy there. I'm just like, I can't let go. I'm trying not to call him a pedophile and a joke thief and a fathead Amish.
You're not trying hard enough.
Obviously. And then I thought, well, I feel bad about that. But here's my problem. Even though I feel bad about that, I'm not going to stop. I can't stop myself. I can't control myself. I have to abuse him because he's 1,000 miles away, first of all. And he can't play back.
Here's the thing.
Absence makes
the reason my friend group, like my whole life, has always consisted of all of us guys just, picking on each other and fucking with each other, and like that's just normal par for the course.
I'm not fucking with you. I draw the line.
Something I said yesterday that we both agreed was cold and mean. I forget what it was, but it's just like, that's who I really am. I can't deny it. This is who I am. I'm a bully. I'm a cold and mean-hearted bastard, and I don't deserve to have any friends.
But I thought your parents were married. I thought your parents
Butter
were
me
married.
with Crisco.
Other than that, I agree with everything else.
And call me a mule.
Call me a mule? I don't know what that means. All right. Donkey and a mule are not the same thing. So, I mean, my mind
They're
goes
not.
to donkey goes.
No, donkey, mule, and ass, right.
Yeah. And
I just love how on Long Island, donkey is spelled Dunkey.
Donkey.
Donkey.
Yeah. It's from the great literary work Don Quixote.
Donkey. Donkey.
Which everybody knows was written by written by a Long Islander.
All right, let me Done. What does that spell?
Done.
Key. There you go.
Key. Okay.
But there's no E in donkey the way you're saying it.
Oh.
There's no E.
Well, I'm done then. Key. So I wanted to bring this up because you said comedians and Stephen. I know you were just kidding around, but
yeah,
I just want to clear this up before anybody sees it. I did
if I was
video.
serious, I would say comedians and Matt if I was serious, but I wasn't serious.
I know. Fine.
That's how they know I was joking.
Fine. I'm just trying to cover my own ass. It's out
Can
here.
Do you have a tent in there?
Yeah. So I did this video for You Gotta Laugh. My intention was to actually have sound of comedians telling jokes. That wasn't working out. So it's just a couple of comedians that I really like, and GD and Ron are in there, but Stephen's not in there from Governors. And the reason that Stephen's not in there is just because there's no flattering shot. The shots that we have are side shots of him sitting in a chair. It doesn't even look like he's doing comedy. It looks like he's yelling at the waiter. And it's not like I'm just disrespecting Stephen. I want to put that out there.
Well, you are disrespecting Stephen because that is his best material where he yells at the waiter. That is his funniest bit.
I don't even think it was a waiter.
You're not including.
I don't think he can afford a waiter with the amount of tickets sold. I think they sent the waiter home for that night.
That's his funniest bit when he yells at the waiter, and you didn't include it. I think that is very. Well, it just seems you're being an ableist.
All right, I am being ableist. But so, and I didn't use a lot. I didn't use like every comedian that I like, but some of my favorite comedians, and Ron and GD. That's who it is. Some of my favorite comedians and Ron and GD. And Stephen got left on the cutting room floor where his head was smashed against the floor, and we left a mark. So I just wanted to
That's all right.
put that out there before somebody said, "Oh, why are you disrespecting?" I left Tony Walker out too because there wasn't really a good shot of him. And then I thought if I put Tony in somehow with a bad shot, now Steven's really going to be hurt about this because you put one leg in there with. So
couldn't you have? I mean, if you have, I don't know how many other comedians you have in there, but couldn't you have used like just Steven's head and put it on another comedian's body?
You can't get a
I
TV.
mean, these are still shots. These are
You
still
can't
shots.
get a screen big enough to play just Steven's head.
No. You crop his head and you superimpose it on somebody else's body. You can manipulate the size like this. No.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not really all that thrilled about the way the video came out, but I had to.
But you gonna show it anyway?
Yeah, because I had to get it done and out there.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I'm the same way. I have tons of imperfect stuff out there because I wanted it out there more importantly than getting it exactly perfect.
And plus, I don't have the patience for these fucking computers that keep shutting down on their own. I'm just going to shut off. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm just going to shut off.
If you paid them,
the computer's like, if you knew anything about us, you know why we shut off.
Nice.
Yeah, if you treat your computers like you treat us, I see why they go on strike on a regular basis.
That's a fair assessment of the situation, but that's not
Your
it.
back is like he's been calling me a pedophile for 6 months, and he just shorts out. Done.
I mean,
what's going on over there on the radio?
Forcing those computers beyond their will, forcing them to store your kiddie porn is just unconscionable. I would rebel as well. If you force your kiddie porn inside of me, I would rebel as well. I'm just saying. Yeah, see, Steven's already
Can you
rebelling.
imagine the headline? Local man raped with kiddie porn. 3 flash drives found inside. And the man gets arrested for transporting child.
And that is Steven's second best bit after him yelling at the waiter.
Oh. That's just
we're going to talk about Nazis,
guy.
I guess, later. Until then, we're just going to sit here and listen to the nonsense. That's what we're going to do. You know, Joe Rogan has become not just a Christian, the worst kind of Christian, Catholic.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
How do you go from
of all of them?
Yeah, I want to get Matt Dillahunty on here. You guys know who Matt Dillahunty is?
Yeah, he's
I've been on.
Let's see who they.
He was on my show back in the day.
No, he wasn't.
Matt Dillahunty was on with me and a few other atheist activists back in 2015.
Wow. So he would know you if I mentioned it. I mentioned your name to get him on the program.
Oh, probably not. No, it's been 10 plus years, and I had a different last name.
Different last name. You go through a lot of last names.
No, I'm on my second one.
Last names like I go through wives.
Yeah.
No, I'm on my second last name. You're on your third wife.
Well, it depends on how you count them.
Well, I'm just curious about this whole.
If you can't find them, you can't count them. That's the premise.
The whole atheist thing. I feel like atheists are like Jehovah's in a way. They want to come to your door and 100%. Convince you to give up. Now, here's my take on it. Religion, I think, if you're going to say religion is bad for society, I would have to agree that on a whole, on a macro scope, that religion makes people do some really fucked up stuff. They start wars over their belief of God. You know, we do fucked up stuff in the name of God. But I think if you take it down to the microbes, to the individual level, and somebody can find peace, you know, deliver them from anxiety, stress, whatever, in this belief that they have, why would you want to take that away from somebody? And I think all these atheists, they want to take that away from the individual. And I understand the societal aspect of it. And you want to cure society of superstition and belonging to cults and all this kind of stuff. But it's almost like veganism. Like, I'm going to try to... You never see a meat eater go into a vegan's house and saying, I got to talk you out of eating plants.
It's
Now,
so I'm gonna pull a
guys,
Willie here. I don't.
yesterday, I witnessed that very discussion at a cookout.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull a Willie here and say I don't know if you knew this about me, but in my 20s, I was an atheist activist, and I had a nonprofit, and I was going to churches and different places and giving talks, and we were going to schools, and we were part of a sister organization to American Atheists, and we were, we did all sorts of that shit. And man, it was so much like being an evangelical. Like, I mean, we were legitimately going out and being evangelicals of the atheist message is what it was.
Right.
Well, I mean, all the way down to
religion of no. But if I say that to an atheist, they get angry. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're trying to convince everybody. Listen, I think religion is stupid, but I don't care if it's like homosexuality. I don't care what you do. It's as long as you know.
Oh, I thought you just say you thought it was stupid. I think religion is stupid. It's like
leave me out of it. Just leave me alone, and who cares?
Yeah, that's kind of where I fell on it. Was go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, to me, all religions are ridiculous, whether it be Catholic or if you're an atheist or a vegan atheist or a vegan Catholic. You're all the same, primarily.
Or a Scientologist or a Trumpist. People, that's a religion now.
And I mean, you could definitely rank the religions, which ones are worse than the others. But
yeah. See, now I guess I'm being a hypocrite because I just hold on. Let me just because and you can attack me on this if I'm. I think I am wrong because I just said that Trumpism is a religion now. I do daily try to talk people out of that religion. Like, that's no good for you on an individual level. So maybe I'm being a little hypocritical there.
I still think of Trumpism as a cult. So I'm going to give you a pass on it just from my perspective. But
yeah,
if you don't want that pass, you're free not to take that pass and just tell me to take the pass.
But the Trumpers are made up of evangelicals, which is essentially it is a cult. Evangelical Christians. You're basically a cult that can't get, a lean cult. Do better.
Yeah. So there is a kind of weird line here where if somebody's in Scientology or Trumpism, I'm going to try and talk them out of that. But if they're a Presbyterian, I'm fine with you. It doesn't, I'm just going to let you be. You can have that, and if it brings you peace.
It's just like people. I mean, it's people that you meet that tell you they don't like music at all. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, no music at all? Like, no.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, that's almost like the plot of a movie or something. No, almost like, I don't know, if I would probably write that movie and call it like Footloose or something.
Yeah.
No, it's worse than Footloose. Footloose was just about a bunch of gay farmers that wanted to be gay, but because the pastor's like, oh, the Bible. It's like, just go fucking suck each other. But I'm talking about like real people.
I watched a different Footloose than Ron did.
I think you guys are kind of mixing up Brokeback Mountain and Footloose somewhere along the line.
No, Ron was watching Footloose.
Funny because I think Ron appears in the video right where he says "stinky bare feet." I don't know why, but yeah, it's a funny line there. The religion versus cult. Where do I draw the line on who I'm going to try to talk out of it? I'm just thinking my way through this, but it's just so I want to get Matt Delahanty on and talk about his atheist activism because he definitely is on a quest to cure everybody of their superstition or religion or beliefs and all that stuff. And to me, because I know he's very liberal minded, and with the issue of, let's say, sexuality, he's let everybody do what they want behind, whatever you do, and it's your life. You have but you don't treat everything that way. Like beliefs, you don't treat that way. Why? Where do you draw the line between people's behavior and people's beliefs that you feel like you need to talk? And it came about with the veganism because somebody's trying to guilt me into being a meat eater. I was a vegetarian for 10 years. I tried it. and I fell off the wagon with mom's meatballs, and then forget about it. I was back on like meat. But I was never a activist vegetarian. But a lot of vegans are. They're like Jehovah's. They want to come to your house and say, "Don't eat meat." And here's what I want to say: is you're doing this because they try to take the spiritual aspect. Oh, the cow has it. Cows can love you like a dog can love you. Blah blah blah. I said, you don't know that plants can't love you. We know plants respond to music. They respond to my vegetables by eating animals that eat vegetables. Right. That's how you're saving your vegetable. But they don't feel. So the question is, don't I feel any guilt about eating a cow that had, the cow loved its own, whatever. Don't you feel any guilt about eating that plant? That plant had feelings, because if you play music for a plant, or if you bring positive vibes around a plant, it will grow. I had a girlfriend
and
who
also
no house plant would grow.
Also turn towards the positive vibrations or the music in time.
Yeah.
Or away from it, depending on the music. I've seen the same studies that you did, Matt.
Yeah, so just
I used to watch.
It doesn't have a face. That's what they'll say. Well, it doesn't have a face. That doesn't mean it can't feel.
My first wife didn't have a face. Well, actually, she did, but you really didn't want to look at it. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, you kept putting camouflage blankets over her face.
I'm thinking I should pitch a gritty reboot, a dark comedy of Footloose about an absent-minded serial killer that keeps just leaving feet around the town. It's like, I can't
do it. Do it. Put him in a wheelchair. Put him in a wheelchair.
There will be
he's trying to find a foot to replace the one he's missing.
Yeah, there'll be music montages of him packing up suitcases and like, where did I put these damn feet?
Because you just talked about it,
or they could all be left feet, and you can call it My Left Foot. And for the Footloose.
That's already been done. That was a Broadway play and a movie.
Yeah, that reboot's already been done, called My Right Fist.
Speaking of screenplays, I don't know if you know this about yesterday.
Wait a minute, Ron. If that movie's about your fist, that's not a reboot. Wouldn't that be a re-glove?
It could be.
I'm just
re-entry.
I don't know if you know this about GD, but yesterday we caught him in a lie on this program. A lie, a outright dirty, disgusting lie. Nobody cares what it is.
Well, we're waiting for you to tell us.
Oh, you want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah, shit.
You heard yesterday that GD said he finished his screenplay for Blessings and Blasphemy. Now, a year and a half ago, I was on the phone with GD. I was out, feeding the chickens weed or something. They were stealing my joints. And I said to him, we really should work on a sitcom for the Reverend. He said, it's called Blessings and Blasphemy. I already have the pilot written. That's what he said to me a year and a half ago. I already have the pilot.
Did I not say in my head or something?
No. You said I have it completed. It's already written. It's done. And then yesterday, you told us you just finished it. Now, what's
I did a rewrite.
This is the of what anybody in court can use now. You're going to impeach my testimony from before. I just did a rewrite.
Yeah, I changed the perspective. Well, there's some things I had to change, because I accidentally changed the perspective in the script. And when I was reading through it before, I decided to send it off to Dylan, and I went, oh shit, I changed the perspective, so I had to go back through and correct all that stuff. And that process,
you did not say I rewrote it and finished it. You said I finally finished it.
Well, yeah, I finished it.
Mm-hmm. So
and then guess what? After Dylan and I look at it tonight, I may finish it again tomorrow, because we may come up with
who's Bill? You said after Bill and I look at it tonight?
No, I said Dylan and I.
Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan Brody.
Bob Dylan. Wow, you're gonna get together with Bob Dylan.
Well, his younger son, Cody Dylan.
So, can you get Dylan back on the program when you talk to Dylan tonight? Can you tell him to come back on?
Sure. Well, you can just tell him. You can say, "Hey, Dylan." I'm sure he's listening. Hey, Dylan, come back on the show.
Why would he? You think he's going to get
Well,
up?
that's right. It's 6:39 in California.
Yeah, actually, he did get up at 6:30 in the morning to be with us the last time he was here. But what is Tears in Heaven? What are we talking about, Bear Love? What are we talking about? Bear Love? Are you a weed head? Because I need to talk to some weed heads for my new weed channel.
Oh, come on. He comes up with this comment,
He's
Tears
a
in
fucking
Heaven,
hippie, I'm
and
pretty
you
sure.
have to ask if he's a weed head.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It could be meth. But no, I'm looking for weed. Now, Steven, you got some time tonight, 5-10 minutes, so we could jump on a quick weed call. Because for Weed World, I need to start populating that
You
channel.
can call Willie. I think he does weed.
I'm not calling Willie.
What if I have him call you?
Willie probably lost his cell phone by now. I don't know. Check your airports. I bet you Willie's got a flip phone. What do you think he's got? He doesn't have like.
No, I think he has a. You remember the old pocket watches with the chain? I bet you his phone has a chain on it.
I love those. Those were cool. I used to have one of those back in the '80s. I would like whip that out.
Yeah,
like
I had one I used to keep in my vest, in my suits. It was just for show. I used to swing it around whenever somebody played one of those Zoot songs. You know, Zoot Suit Riot. Yeah.
Bear Love says he's been smoking concentrated hash since 2009 continuously. That's a long time. Put the pipe down. Concentrated hash. I haven't smoked hash since probably the 80s. I know they, I don't know if they even sell that at Poospatuk. I should find out. But yeah, Bear Love, if you can spare 5-10 minutes at some point to do like a call on here that I can record from my channel. I just have a lightning round of questions about a cannabis round of questions about your experience, some stuff just kind of to fill up my Weed World channel because I got to get.
Yeah, what got you started? What was your first experience like? The first time you did pot, and if you've ever accidentally
don't give away all the questions yet. They're supposed to be spontaneous. We don't want people thinking about it in advance, right? Right.
Okay.
I think.
So don't think about these questions that I just mentioned. Don't think about them.
What questions? You have questions?
I don't know.
Well, I have a question. Did you say you actually got into swing music in the 90s?
Yes.
Because you were talking about swinging around a watch.
Yes.
Right.
Swing.
I don't remember when the songs came out like hell. Remember Squirrel Nut Zippers and stuff
it was definitely like early to mid 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, I still love it. I still love Squirrel Nut Zippers and Zoot Suit Riot and stuff like that. Well, actually, I love the genre of music itself. I think it's fun.
Yeah. So when was the last time? Did you guys ever smoke hash? Did you smoke hash? How about hash and hash oil? Have you done those things?
No, I think I've had dabs. I've had I've had dabs. I've had wax.
Yeah, I do like dabs. Dabs are nice.
I wonder if it's like the old hash was so fucking strong compared.
Yes.
It was just I don't know. But I'm probably gonna go get. Some of the exotic. I'm for the white weed.
Well, that's the big complaint now with a lot of people that the weed is too strong.
Yeah.
You know, Matt. You know what you should do for these weed interviews is every person you're going to interview is send them one of those 1,000 milligram edibles. Then interview.
Are you hot right now?
Yeah, interview them on air while they're fucked up, and then you can get a really good, hopefully a really good interview.
I gotta go back and fun because there was lots of weed conversations within Mind Dog TV and Coffee with the Dog that I could pull out with 86-year-old Annie Corson saying, "Are you high right now? I used to love to smoke."
That should be.
Yeah, that
you should get that sound clip to be the intro for the Weed World videos. Are you high right now? Weed World.
Yeah, the Weed World song is lovely. I don't know if you've heard the Weed World song, but Weed World, fuck it, baby, fuck it. So I don't know the THCA now because I asked AI, is THCA real weed, and it came up with yes. And I'm like, no, I wanted you to say no because my perspective is no. It's a short that I put that, but it says in the video that technically it's marketed as hemp because it's not THC until you light it. That A is for activate, THC activate. So once you light it, it turns into. And
No, you know what it is? This is fucking Texas. This is fucking Texas bullshit. Like we have THCA because Texas, you are still a terrible state. There's no color in your state, and you still can't get legal weed.
No, I agree. Texas, and I think they're even trying to ban THCA in Texas.
And porn. Fuck you, Texas.
But yeah, all right. Fair Love.
Just so that everybody knows,
Phil Rhodes is Texas, so you could.
I have never performed comedy in Texas, so I'm going to withhold all of my opinions about Texas until after.
We're not talking about Texas. We're talking about THCA. Let's put Texas aside.
Ron,
who heard Ron? Did anybody hear Ron? Nobody heard. Ron's a fucking tree in the forest. Nobody heard it, right?
I'm a nobody because I heard it.
You didn't hear nothing.
Whoa!
Shit!
Disrespectful.
I think the problem.
I bet you that was like having sex with Matt back in the day. It's like you didn't feel nothing,
right? I was in the forest the day that tree fell. By the way,
you probably the one that cut the damn thing down.
All right. Texas drug government has been run by the cartel, blah, blah, for a long time. They've never. When I was in Texas in the late 70s and early, we used to fucking buy pounds of weed for like $30, $40 for a fucking pound of weed. Texas has always been. They're gonna, they're not gonna stop the quantity of it. All you're gonna do is take away the tax revenue. If you just keep it illegal, all you're doing is filling up more jail cells, taking away your tax revenue. You're not stopping the use of marijuana. It's just not.
Yeah, but if they fill up the jail cells, they're increasing their tax revenue because the corporate prison system is going to make their money, and then actually corporations don't pay taxes. I stand corrected. I'm sorry.
Texas is also big on private prisons where they're making money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They don't make money off of the state.
But back to the THCA thing, I think there's a big discrepancy between people who analyze it from a scientific perspective and people who've actually smoked it, because it tastes like fucking weed. Not pot weed. Like it tastes like weed you would get from your yard, and the high is not the same. They keep insisting that it's exactly the same. I was like, no, I've done it.
The few times I've had it, it's given the high is uncomfortable. It almost makes me anxious. I get a headache. It doesn't taste good, and I always get a hungover feeling afterwards. Like it's an artificial.
That sounds like you've been sucking off alcoholics. It doesn't taste good.
No, like I've smoked it. I've vaped it, and I've had edibles, and all three times I get the same reaction to it, and it's always the THCA products, or Delta 8. Delta 8 does the same shit to me. I don't like it.
Well, according to these people who are doing this analysis, Delta stuff is in regular weed anyway. It's just it's the active part. I don't know about that. It sounds like a lab fucking shit, right? But I don't know how I put this short out. I wanted the short to say negative things about THCA because that's my opinion on it. As being a user who've tried it and said, "Ew, this is fucking garbage." I wanted to I couldn't get AI to agree with me on it. So I put it out there and wrote in the disclaimer that I think this is all bullshit, even though the title of the thing is real weed and just in disguise or whatever.
If you think it's bullshit, why put it out there? Why?
Because I wanted to get some comments. It's all for views and clicks. And I would thought that if I put this out there, I'd get a lot of weed heads. And that's the point I was about to make before you had to fucking interrupt me with this dumbass question. Why?
If I don't ask dumbass questions, then why am
I was going to tell you anyway, if you just sit there and be quiet, what I pay you to do.
Okay, let's break that sentence down. What you pay
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Anakin pussy.
Let's start with what you paid me to do.
Let's start with answering your dopey ass question. Why? Because I did it for clicks and views, thinking I'm going to get weed heads to say, this is bullshit, man. You don't know what you're talking about. That's what I was hoping for. But I think they were too fucking high smoking the real weed to actually give a fuck. That's the problem.
I'm myself and the Reverend back in the 90s, early 90s. This is actually before he was a Reverend. Back when he was just a regular pot smoker. We had a show on radio, and it's called Pot Philosophy, where we would smoke pot and discuss philosophy. And
I like it.
It was a
very early Joe Rogan, except you were taller.
Yeah, so we did this in the 95, 96. That's when we were doing it. And I don't remember him ever having problems. Well, actually, there wasn't such thing as THCA and stuff like that. We had just a good old-fashioned pot.
There wasn't even sativa or indica. There was Mexican, Jamaican, Thai stick, Hawaiian, Colombian.
Acapulco Gold.
Oh, Acapulco Gold.
Which is what we used to use. That was like our go-to. But to be honest, I didn't. If you pulled out a bag of Acapulco Gold and a bag of Morton's parsley flakes, I don't know if I could tell the difference without lighting it. I don't know. And smelling it.
Smelling it. As soon as you open the bag, it was like, oh, this is good weed. No stem, no seeds that you don't need. Acapulco Gold is badass weed.
I remember that song from the commercials on television.
Yeah. This program is brought to you by Acapulco Gold. I don't know. There's no such thing. There's no such thing anymore. It's hybrid.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, not a sponsor. So it almost sounds like mannequin pussy. Not a mannequin pussy.
Not a sponsor.
Right.
So that should be a soundbite that we play whenever we mention a product that we don't use or that's not a sponsor. So we talk about Coca-Cola, we can go like, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
I got myself all
how do you want it to
sound
sound though? Do you want like not a sponsor or not a sponsor or not
I want it to sound like to sound like dinosaurs, not the mama.
Not the sponsor.
I'm give PD some credit for being kid hip with now the dinosaur movie is probably 30 years old, right? 30 or 40 years old or something.
I said 35 years old.
I mean, when I say kid hip, I mean the kind of kid who would crawl into a pool and kill himself. That kind of kid.
Or be so devoted to his father, he's looking everywhere for him, and he looks under there because he's like, I bet you nobody's looked here for my dad. And he looked, and the water was so green that he had to feel around looking for his dad. And then he got so far into the tarp, he couldn't make his way back. I think it's a love story.
Inappropriate by making jokes about this kid who
I didn't make any jokes. I think it's a love story.
Yeah.
I'm a humorist. I don't tell jokes.
It's not my kid.
Yeah.
No, my kid offed himself in a motel room.
I mean, the only people that should really feel better are the parents, and they should have probably kept a better eye on him.
Right.
One of the parents was missing.
Yeah. Whatever.
Maybe that parent went looking for the kid.
The acorn doesn't fall far from the nut, right? Or whatever. I mean, the father. Listen, if the kid's
I think the saying is the nut doesn't spurt far from the tree.
Right. That's what I meant to say. You're absolutely right. You should just talk for me from now on. Go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out what Steven is saying. He was like, so I don't know what he was saying.
I went.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to say something.
So before prepping the next hour, we're going to be talking about Nazis, right? And I'm just curious to you about, listen, this Holocaust denial stuff. It had to take root someplace. And like everything, it starts with one guy, right? The guy who came up with the Holocaust denial.
He was probably on trial in Nuremberg.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
That was his defense. He was like,
you killed 12 million Jews. No, I didn't.
And plus, people need hobbies, People need hobbies to keep himself busy nowadays.
When Robert Klein was on the program, we were talking about this, and he said Eisenhower had the wherewithal when he came upon Auschwitz to say, get the journalists in here, get the movie cameras, because at some point people are going to deny this ever happened, and we need to document it. But the people who are perpetuating this stuff, they got to have some dark. Like, who would just make that shit up? Like, if it didn't happen, somebody had to think, I know, we'll just say they threw him in gas chamber, and made lamps out of him. Like, all the fucking weird, wacky shit that they come up with. That you're saying that was all somebody's imagination. Where is this sick fuck? He should be in Hollywood right now, giving them some fresh ideas. Because,
well, you've seen our current president, right?
He doesn't have that kind of imagination.
Well, no, but I mean, it all tracks. It all makes sense, especially for the past 10 years. You've given these limp dicks, a voice. So now we get more limp dick knowledge than ever.
Right.
I mean, honestly, if you're a white supremacist, how embarrassing is it that your guys are like all wimps? Tucker Carlson. I mean, they easily just want to be bent over and be made into real men.
I think him and Jesse Waters are. It's incredible that these two effeminate little twinks are preaching masculinity to people. Like, real men don't do that. Like, real men fuck you in the ass. That's who real men. I mean, Jesse Waters and Tucker Carlson are the, dare I say, sissy-ish men I've ever seen. And I include Truman Capote in that, men I've ever seen. And listen, there was no...
Well, I mean, Truman was gay, though, and he wasn't really hiding.
I don't know. I think he's just effeminate. I don't know.
But Truman was gay?
Truman Capote.
What?
Not Harry Truman.
Oh.
Do you even know who
or Truman from the movie Truman?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Harry Truman. I was like, whoa.
Harry ass Truman?
Harry ass.
Yeah.
So,
nothing beats fucking
Want to see? Can I play this dopey video, and we'll look for GD and Ron in it, and no Steven?
I'm not sure I would know which one was me.
Let's see.
I didn't know this about me, but I'm colorblind.
Everything is funny about the human condition. From the way you spend your money to your favorite position. You're born into a world where the joke is on us. So listen, boys and girls, better get on the bus. Create your memories, your selfie photographs. But when it's over, don't forget to laugh. Some people look for reasons they can be offended. Though angry isn't pleasing, it's not recommended. Walking around on eggshells with their stinky bare feet. Talking down like incels to all the people they meet. But people are all people, we all feel the same pain. So lose the judgment, fear, and all the shame. You gotta laugh, 'cause laughter sets you free. You gotta laugh, the only way to be. While you're looking for meaning on this crazy ride, don't forget to laugh until you cry. Everything is funny about the life we've been given. From the moment you're born till you give up the living. The lessons you're presented and an intricate riddle. The things that you've resented kept you stuck in the middle. The screenplay of your life awaits the final draft. But when it's over, don't forget to laugh. You gotta laugh, 'cause laughter sets you free. You gotta laugh, the only way to be. While you're looking for meaning on this crazy ride, don't forget to laugh until you cry. Just giggle, snort, and chuckle, and don't be afraid. Maybe you're uptight because you need to get laid. And if it feels like all your dreams have gone up in smoke, remember life is nothing but a joke. You gotta laugh, 'cause laughter sets you free. You gotta laugh, the only way to be. While you're looking for meaning on this crazy ride, don't forget to laugh until you cry.
All right. So I had to put Jackie in there at the end. And let's just finding a place where he did that stupid laugh. That's like an hour of scanning. Like, where can I get a Jackie laugh?
Now it was a great video. I did have a couple clips I think would have worked in there, but that's fine. It's not a big deal.
You
I'm
didn't
only a
send
little
me
hurt.
them.
It's
I
not-
asked you to send me them, not fucking send me on a fucking wild goose chase to fucking download.
I didn't send you on a wild goose chase.
You did.
I
don't have.
I sent you the YouTube link.
I don't want YouTube links. I asked you to send me the clips. GD send me clips. You send me fucking
Okay.
YouTube links. I didn't say send me links.
Actually,
No
Matt,
stems,
if you
only seeds.
if I had known you were going to use the audio, I actually have better clips that are, but they weren't.
They're not that what?
Yeah, because you're saying you wanted the punchline and the laugh.
I thought I was going to use audio with it, but there's just no place in there to actually use the audio. And
Yeah, I thought you needed audio, so that's why I sent you the YouTube link. So that was my
It
fault.
doesn't matter. You would have sent me to any fucking links. I would be fuck you. That's not what I asked for.
Well, actually, it's a good job. You did a good job on it. And just for the
Yeah, it was
record, the guy that stole the joke or
He's in
acquired
there?
the joke is in there. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're the guy who
No, but he's in there.
He's in there?
Yep.
Wasn't me this time.
Yeah, it wasn't. So it wasn't. Steven's in the clear.
You talking about Josh?
Yep, that's
Josh
the big
Johnson?
Josh DeWay? I
No,
didn't even see Josh DeWay in there.
Because I think earlier you said it was a black guy. Did you not say
Right,
it was?
and you only have two black guys in the whole thing, so and it's
Right.
not me.
There's
so-
three. There's three black guys. Josh Johnson, you, and some guy who was just off stock footage.
I'm not comedians, though. Yeah, because there's also a black woman in there as well.
The whole reference to position, I assume sexual connotations, but it coincides with a dude holding a black baby. Awkward.
Mm.
Yeah.
And position could be your political position, but
Yes.
but I don't remember how the context of the word was used. But yeah, you're right, Mr. Beavers.
Yeah, it is a little awkward, without a doubt. And it's meant to be. Or comedy is meant to be awkward. It's not like a comedy piece, but whatever it is.
Right.
Oh, we did that Texas government thing. So I'm just happy to be done with it. But now it's not going to get the kind of response that it'll get the kind of response my THC short got, which is like, we don't care. But the whole idea was just to promote stand-up comedy and to feature some of my favorite comedians. So, but I'm sure there's lots of them I missed, but I was drawing a blank at that point. Honestly, I was like, who else could I include in it? I mean, there are lots of people I like chuckle at, but none of them, and almost everybody in that video has been on the program. Couple, Louis C.K. is not. Obviously, I want him, and Joe List. I've had Joe List's wife on the program. I haven't got Joe List yet, but those are my white whale, and Sam Morrill. So,
The funny thing is, I was looking through when you were doing the thing, and you guys are going to be surprised that I did not know like 3/4 of those comedians by face.
I'm not surprised.
No, I'm pretty sure
we're not. No one's surprised. No one's
I'm
surprised.
willing to bet you're all surprised that I didn't know 3/4 of those faces.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked, I tell you.
That's what I thought.
Welcome to Boomer Corner, the only corner
And you can get stuck in.
You can get socked in. It sounds like she's saying socked in. Like sock it to me, which is a boomer phrase.
Or
What-
sucked in. No.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's good to be with the Lord, because you can interpret it any way that you want.
Well, why couldn't you do that if you weren't with the Lord?
Sounded good.
Yeah, you're not a good Matt Delahanty. I gotta say, I need the real Matt Delahanty. You're like a fake Matt Delahanty. We can't have these fucking Timu Matt Delahanties on the program. We need real.
Ooh, Timu, that's even lower than Dollar Store.
Well, considering I don't know who that is, then
yeah. Most
Matt Dillahunty was like when the American atheist craze was happening in the 2010s. Matt Dillahunty was on the leading forefront of internet atheist.
He's making a killing on YouTube right now by debating right wingers, especially phony Christian right wingers. But he's tearing them apart and all this stuff. Did you see? What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say there was a woman who led like this atheist group, and she was murdered for her coin collection. This is back. I'm trying to think.
Coin collection.
Yeah, that's basically what they killed her for, or they killed her because of her beliefs, and they stole her coin collection.
Yeah, that seemed probably more accurate, I guess. I don't know.
I can't remember. She was like really, really big in the atheist movement. This woman and her family, but she was like the big.
See, now I'm just wondering. You just said the atheist movement, and if you say that to an atheist, there's no movement. There's no movement. It's all an individual.
Well, the truth, there's no movement. They're stuck on the same premise. There's no movement. They're stuck on the same premise. There is no God. It's not like they're moving toward less God, and then even less God. There's no movement. There's zero God.
Well, that's the movement they're wanting to push. That's the reason it's so evangelical feeling, is because they want to push God out of everything.
Now there's footage of there's a TikTok video, I think, or it's a short on YouTube. I'm not sure which, but Ricky Gervais is discussing religion with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah,
and Stephen Colbert is asking him about being atheist, and so he says to Stephen Colbert that there's like 3,000 gods mentioned in the Bible or something, and you only choose to believe in one. No, not believe in the other 2,199. And he says, so you believe in just one more God than I do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what he says. First of all, you just butchered that. He said,
okay,
you don't believe in 2,999, but I just believe in one less, is what he said.
Yeah. But he said it in like a long
you did it inside out, and that takes away the funny. I don't know if you know anything about the funny.
I wasn't trying to make it funny. I was just
trying
to make
you know anything about the funny.
Yeah.
I think religion for me is like everything else in my. I just have like I like weed, but then I don't like a lot of weed smokers, and I don't like going to like cannabis festivals and stuff like, because it's like, I don't know, the people are the problem, because they're like,
people are 100% the problem.
Well, that's with everything. Yeah. It's not just religion or drugs.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah,
it's everything across the board. That's why I can't even get fully on board with like supporting an NFL team, because I'm like, yeah, what am I? Because I'll start to then like, what am I doing with my life?
I'm not winning any games. They are. They're making all the money off of my
beer
drinking and chicken eating.
Yeah,
the people as a whole is what made it horrible. Like when I stopped doing the atheist thing, because the whole religion argument just became just too fucking heated every time. Like I got so much hate and death threats, and then the Indy Star latched on to the nonprofit I started and added it to a list of hate groups after I'd already shut it down. And that was an interesting time.
So we're clear that starting and not finishing something is a habitual thing with you. This is what you do. This is these start things.
Oh, and that's why people
hate 3
it.
years. No, I ran it for 3 years, but I just got done with the arguments.
Let me tell you something, boy.
Ooh,
quitters never win, and winners never quit.
Man, I just become black, and he starts calling me boy. Wow.
I know.
That didn't take long.
Yeah.
Now you're black, Steven.
You said you were.
Now you're black.
You said
It sounds to me that Steven needs a lesson.
You heard the one about the two bulls? Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, these two bulls are sitting on a grassy knoll overlooking a herd of Guernseys. And the baby bull says, "Hey, Pop, let's run down and fuck one of those cows." But the Papa bull says, "No, son. Let's walk down. Fuck them all."
See, now when he premises
You know,
that,
that's
he doesn't say
life-changing.
he says two bulls. He doesn't say them father and son, and then he said, "Well, the Papa bull was the baby bull." You got to premise it that way, but.
I just love all the breathing in that clip.
Yeah.
It's like,
not yet. you hear the angst in that, like not yet. I want to come back to this Stephen Colbert thing that GD was talking about, because Ricky Gervais said you believe in just one God, and Stephen Colbert says in three persons, in three entities.
Yeah, in three persons.
I'm confused by that, because Jesus on the cross supposedly said, "Forgive them, Father." He's talking to himself. Why?
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's Catholic bullshit. It's Catholic.
Oh, that's
bullshit.
Catholic.
Yeah, the Trinity thing is it's the Trinity thing about Jesus being God and God being Jesus, and that's Catholic bullshit.
Wait, but other denominations don't believe in the Holy Trinity, because I think non-denominationals do.
They do.
Not in the personhood of Jesus being God and stuff like that. Some of them do believe that Jesus is God, but I don't think it's just bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit.
I'm getting that, but has anybody ever confronted them on that kind of weird little?
Oh yeah, I confronted them from the inside when I was part of the Catholic Church.
Well, the Baptists are pretty heavy on the Holy Trinity, and Jesus being God. And
what's the answer to that? Because he calls out, "Forgive them, Father." I'm we're the same guy. It's like
I don't know.
Forgive them, Mind Dog. Wait a minute, Mind Dog and me. Wait a minute.
It was one of those things that I always questioned in Christian school. I would question this in Christian school. They would always get really shitty with me, and I'd get put in detention for it, because I was like, why is he asking himself to forgive himself? And then I was like, why is he sitting at the right hand of himself when he's in heaven, when he is the guy sitting in the chair? Like, why is he at the right hand of himself?
It makes sense if you think of Jesus being having multiple personalities, and he doesn't realize that he's all of them. In that case, it's
but we medicate those in our world. So
the biggest thing with the Catholics is that there's loopholes for everything. That's why people love it, because it doesn't matter like what you do during your life. You can just like repent at the end and be like, I need to take a mulligan on this life, and God apparently is like, we're good.
Yeah.
You raped 30 children. You know what? You said 7 Hail Marys. That's a green card, bro.
And Baptist, you must be the Monopoly Christian.
And Baptist, they're all about burning in hell for everything.
He almost said a monopolist. He would instead of Baptist, he was going to say the monopolist guy.
Ron,
you see how I got him?
Ron, when I was at a Baptist Christian school growing up, my mental health was so bad because I was convinced that everyone I knew was going to burn in hell if they didn't get saved the proper way. I was convinced that the end of the world was happening any minute. Like I couldn't sleep at night because I was listening for trumpets, and like they had me so fucked up in the head that I had I was like, no, like this can't be a thing anymore. Like, it was bad.
With a fire concert of Chicago or something, you would have heard the trumpets and been like, "Oh, that's it."
Dude, I would have panic attacks on like New Year's. And like on just like different, like just anything that could possibly set off the end of the world. It was just like, it would just freak me out, all because of having to go to church Sunday night, Sunday morning, Wednesday night, and Saturday night, and having to hear this brimstone and fire preaching. It was horrible.
Wednesday night, was that church or was that Bible study? I don't think that's the same thing.
Nope. Full church. Full church service.
Wow. See, then you're not black, because if you're black, Wednesday night would be Bible study night, not church.
The first time I
You're not black.
First time I ever hung out with friends, my friend Joe Mignani, his mother used to insist he go to church, and he said, instead of going to church Sunday morning, I'll take the Saturday night mass. I'll just go there for the Saturday night mass. And we never did that. She'd give him some money to put in the poor box, whatever. We'd walk into church. He'd do the holy water thing. We'd walk out, and so he felt cool about telling his mother he went to church when he just got in and did the holy water. Then we take the money she gave him to put in the poor box and go to Albert's Pizza. And that was our tradition for the first 2 years that I hung out with my friends. Is we would walk to the church, walk out in the church and out of the church, and then go to have pizza.
So instead of worshiping Christ, you were ingesting crust.
Yeah, and not only that, taken away from the, who knows what they really do with that money in the poor box. I think they just they
probably buy pizza.
He was experiencing the Holy Trinity: dough, cheese, and sauce.
Yeah. Now the Rocket 45s are playing at that church tonight. Of course, I won't be there with them, but we got banned from that church in 2008, 2009. We were on the back, and we did playing on the backstage there, and we did Ballad of John and Yoko, where it's Christ, it ain't easy, you know how hard it could be, the way things are going, they're gonna crucify me. And the priest there was turning like purple as we were doing that song, shaking his head at it. And that was, we were banned for like 10 years until that priest died. The priest who was,
in standard Catholic practices, they usually take the crust and turn it into Christ, but you guys did it the other way around. You took the Christ and turned it into crust.
Yeah, Albert's deep dish pizza. It's a Sicilian pizza. It wasn't like that.
That's real transubstantiation you guys did there. That's alchemy.
Yeah.
Alpha you, because I wasn't there.
How'd we get here? How'd we get to this point in the program?
We took a left turn in Albuquerque.
No stems, only seeds.
Is that new?
Yes.
So now,
I remember why I called you now, Matt. I remember why I called you yesterday. You didn't pick up the phone because you saw my number.
I didn't get a phone call from you yesterday. Hold on a second. Where's my recent? Go ahead. Keep telling your little lie. Yeah.
Okay. What was the day before
yesterday? I got a phone call.
Welcome.
Look at that. He's not lying.
I remember why I called you when you said, when I heard the AI thing. I was calling to get scheduled car service for my car. And I heard this woman's voice. She says, "Hi, Glenn. This is Brooke." And after, I said, I call this place a lot. I don't know a Brooke or anything. And this is totally different the way they usually answer. They never answer by my name. They usually, And so I said, okay, they will have my phone number, but they don't know it's me. It could be my wife using my phone. But she says, "Hi, Glenn. This is Brooke. How can I help you?" And she sighed a little bit. You could hear
the old AI sigh.
It was AI, and they're putting in sighs and breaths for you to hear. It's like the thing that Ron just played. It was AI, but you didn't hear any breathing. You could hear her breathing, and I thought to myself, "My God, this is the best fucking AI thing I've ever heard." I could actually forget that this is not AI because I hear them breathing between words and taking a breath and stuff like that. And I was like, holy fuck. And I was so excited by that I called Matt to tell Matt that I finally heard a good AI voice. And it was just because they added breathing or the breath between words and sentences.
So you were excited by this is I think Ron needs to play that Boomer Corner thing again. When you're getting excited by the
it was the use. It was the fact that because like I said, when I hear AI, I don't know why I don't like AI, and I don't always know why I know it's AI right away. But because they added the breath, it clicked in. Now I know what it is about AI that makes it so artificial for me. I didn't.
Boomer Corner.
Oh, fuck you guys. You don't.
I would not. First of all, no, I'm not fucking us guys. I'm not fucking. I'm not fucking you guys or those guys.
I had an epiphany. Okay, I had an epiphany about something I learned about myself, and I was trying to share it. You guys don't care.
Oh, that's nice.
Fuck you all in the ass with Ron's right.
No, it's a nice thing. That's nice. Did you shoot him? I don't know why I said that.
Now you should use AI for like especially for research purposes. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
It is so great because especially if you need to research a joke to see if it's out there, AI it's so quick for that. It's
So you're saying that that guy that didn't mention his name should have done that? Well,
He
then again,
probably did. I don't think most
I
joke
don't know.
thieves are.
I don't know that he didn't have permission to use it. I don't know that. I don't know. I just know that the best laugh I ever heard him get was with someone else's joke.
yeah.
Uh,
No, certain jokes I will do a little bit of research to see if someone already has it out there.
I do the same thing. I usually to see if it's in the zeitgeist because I'll reach out to like 2 or 3 comedians and I say, "Have you ever heard this?" And because if it's out there, if it's in the zeitgeist, they may have heard it. But
it's pretty easy to tell the difference between outright joke thief and parallel thinking, right?
Right. Yes.
And so, if word for word, like the Dennis Leary stuff was word for word, Bill Hicks, word for word. The Carlos Mencia, Bill Cosby stuff, word for word, inflections, all of it, unmistakable joke thief. And I don't think that ever happens by accident. No joke thief. Actually, no, you knew directly. Robin Williams used to do it all the time, but he would send people checks. He didn't ask permission; he just use it, and then send them checks. But still, I think that buys him.
And there's lots of stories out there of him apologizing to comics too,
right?
Hitting them up after the fact, like, "Hey, I stole your joke."
Yeah. So, but I don't think anybody ever does it by accident. You can tell when it's just parallel thinking and direct theft and all that.
I'm 95% sure this is not parallel thinking, because it's, how should I put it? I'm familiar with the bit, the way he does it. Like I said, I recognized it right away, and I pretty much knew where he was going.
Why are you just naming this guy? Why are you covering?
Because I don't know. I don't want to call him a joke thief if he's not a joke thief. If he didn't say, so and so, I want to do this, but I'm going to put my own little twist
you don't have to call him a joke thief. You can just say, I heard him do this bit, and I was wondering if it was like parallel thinking or a joke thief, but you're 95% sure it wasn't parallel thinking. Well, I mean, he's not going to sue you.
No, he's not going to sue me because I'd tear him a new one.
Oh,
yeah, he's not. He don't want no parts of this.
Mm-hmm.
He's this young black kid on Comedy Central and the Daily Show. He don't want no parts of this.
Badass, you're a badass.
No, I'm not a badass. I just know how to fight dirty.
To the bone.
I know how to fight fucking dirty. When don't push my back against the wall. I will come at your ass. So you don't want no parts of this.
I wanted to talk about.
Calm down,
can we talk about politics for a minute? Just for a minute. Because
I guess
you know how this guy who was in the White House calling himself president, how he ran for that office, calling himself a peacemaker and all this stuff. He's on the verge of like starting wars all over the fucking place, right? I don't know if you know this, but he said Putin has gone crazy.
Right.
And he's kind of daring Putin to start a war with us, starting a war with Taiwan or China over Taiwan. He wants to kind of take on the entire Muslim world, and because he's mad at Hamas. So this is biblical. Is it not biblical? The guy who came in promising peace, to be a peacemaker, and then as soon as he gets in office, becomes a warrior and a war maker and all this stuff. It
kind of just sounds like a normal American politician.
No. They don't go fucking war crazy, like starting war. When was the last time you had a politician that was looking to start wars everywhere? Not just like looking for one.
George Bush.
It wasn't like we were going to start wars everywhere. Yeah,
George W. Bush. I felt like there was a war everywhere when George Bush was in office. But I was also a kid. But
where was it everywhere? Russia and China.
I felt like the entirety of the Middle East was about to. And again, this was during my church days, but I felt like the entire Middle East was just on like a powder keg, ready to explode.
It's been that way forever, but Bush wasn't starting. And he kind of he used 9/11 as impetus to start those. But he was going to start a war with Iraq anyway to revenge his father's not finishing the job.
Right.
But he wasn't starting wars it wasn't looking to start wars everywhere on the fucking planet, and especially with Russia and China. Those we got our ass kicked by Vietnam. I'm sorry to tell you that, folks. We got our ass kicked by Vietnam.
Well, we were fighting Vietnam with one hand tied behind our back because we weren't calling it a war. We were calling it a conflict. So we weren't throwing everything we had at them. We were trying to, like I said, it was, and we underestimated them. We underestimated them, so we thought we could beat them with one hand tied behind our backs. Russia and China, we're not going to fuck with like that. We're going to go straight for the jugular. We're going for the bank accounts. We're going for the infrastructure.
Yeah, but we still can't mess with China because look at Big Pussy. He has to back off from the tariffs because we're their biggest consumer.
Yeah, I'm talking about in a war though, not in a. I'm not talking.
Well, yeah, but even in a war, like if things went bad, because China has for the last decade been building shit in Africa with the Silk Road. They've been making inroads with that. One of China's biggest issue is India. They have a lot of problems with India because they're always skirmishing on that border.
Right.
So China's biggest problem is not so much us and India. Yeah.
China put kill switches in all of their electronics. So as soon as the war starts, all of our TVs and GPSs and phones and microwaves and everything's going to shut off.
Who's going to handle customer support if India has to go to war?
That's India. That's India. Thank you for calling LG. How can I help you? That's
the AI that I heard at the place that I did get my car repaired or worked on, or they haven't had to repair it. They just do preventive maintenance because my car doesn't break down. It's not allowed to. I'm paying too much fucking money for it.
Looks like Rob J. Wolf is not going to show up here, by the way. And it's funny because
I can't believe this guy didn't show up for the show.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to have a war now, it's not fault with planes and fucking tanks. You just go after our critical infrastructure, which in this country is very easy to get to.
Which is in critical condition.
I think that's largely true. I mean, they'll launch a cyber war first, but I think even without the ships and missiles, and Trump is big on this golden dome. He used to call it an iron dome, and he thinks this is going to protect us. I think this, the
only reason why he wants a golden dome is so that he can pawn it when it's over with. When he leaves office, he can just pawn the shit.
During his last administration, that big dummy was talking about, well, these systems for the nuclear missiles need to be upgraded, and we need to put them on. No, there's a reason they are on closed systems. There is a reason for that.
He wants to hook this shit up to Starlink. Like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? Like, don't put this shit on the internet, you moron. You fucking idiot. Yeah, like, sure. Is it scary to think that all of our nuclear missiles are running on Windows XP? Sure, it's a little scary. But they're on closed systems, so they can't be fucked with by people with a laptop somewhere. Like, I'm not upset by that. So... And we shouldn't be going out about screaming, "Oh, our shit's all out of date and it's easy to fuck with." Yeah, let's go announce that to the world.
Well, on top of that, what has Elon Musk done with all that data that he's pilfered from the IRS, health data? Why does he have all that? And where are the fucking questions?
I'm curious too because it seems like he gathered all of that information and then disappeared.
Like, oh yeah, he did what you're supposed to do in a heist. You get in and you get out.
Even his ex account, his ex account's even gone.
This just in.
I can't even find his ex account.
Wait, this just in.
Yeah, breaking news. This just in. The podcast that's what's it called? I forgot what it's called. Those trashy podcasts or what's that garbage podcast?
Yeah.
Tom Myers is going to be the co-host, the guest co-host for about a week because their regular co-host is going to be on vacation.
Tom Myers?
Tom Myers is going to be the co-host on the Garbage Post. What's it called again?
Who are these garbage podcasts?
Who are these garbage podcasts? He's going to be the co-host for a week, guest co-host.
So Rob just he just emailed me. I didn't get the link. I sent him the link 4 different ways. It's just like, check it. So he might be here in a moment or two. It's just so frustrating with this fucking. It says right on the top of the thing now. Check all your folders. Check under your seat. Check in your underwear. Check everywhere for the fucking link. Go to Steven's house, twist his tits, come in his face, and maybe find this.
And I will verify that Matt wrote those things because I did spell check it for him. I didn't spell check it for him. Matt just wanted to get my opinion to make sure he was using a pretty font. And
how did he spell the word tits?
Steven.
I see what you did there, you silly bitch.
Where's 11968? You know that? 11968. 11968. Oh, by the way, GD, they're begging me to do this. This.
Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I misread it. It goes, Tom corrected me. Tom says, I'm not a guest co-host. I am just a guest. I'm being interviewed by Adam Bush.
Oh. Wow, so Tom listens to this program? Why doesn't he have a life? He's listening to this program.
No, we're texting each other.
Oh.
I see, just for the record out there, guys, I am friends with the world famous Tom Myers. Okay, we're almost like this. We're almost like this. Tom Myers, the world famous Tom Myers, and I are like almost like this.
Yeah, more like this.
I said almost like this.
Almost like this.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah. So you've had sex with
gay?
The Reverend.
That's what I just heard.
The Reverend and Tom had a tryst, but I was not part of it. I was filming it.
Well, Robert, it sounds like Robert here right now. That was that pop I just heard, right?
Yeah,
let's get
the Papa you just heard.
All right, let's talk Nazis and Holocaust and Holocaust denial and fascism and all that kind of stuff. Robert J. Wolf, MD, grew up as an only child of Irvin and Judith Wolf. Their stories of their escape from communist Hungary and his father's tragic history of escaping the Nazis twice, but having his own parents deported to Auschwitz inspired Robert to document his parents' tales and share those stories with Jewish groups and others throughout the United States. Not just listen, everybody needs to hear this story because we are in a period of extreme anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial. And his book is called Not a Real Enemy, and he's here now. Let's say hello to Dr. Robert J. Wolf. Dr. Wolf, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. Couldn't have said
It's
it better
my pleasure. Now, I did send you the link 4 different ways.
Listen, Ma, I got nothing.
It's probably in your junk folders or your spam folders or your folder
I just
folders.
got back from Italy, or where the hell I was, Croatia.
Well, you're here now. You're here now. Yeah. Let me pull up the book if I can. Now, you say it's for talking to Jewish people. Listen, it seems like we need to relearn history. We live in a time
it's an old
where we can't even get people to admit that Nazis were bad. Like they don't want to be called Nazis, and which is an indication that they think it's bad. But I have people defending Nazis, latter-day Nazis, people who believe in Nazism, all the time to me. Like trying to say that, well, Churchill was really responsible he was the villain of World War II and rewriting history. Now your family had issues with both sides of it because they were really the original impetus of World War II was communists versus Nazis trying to take control over Germany, and your family had problems with both sides, communists and Nazis.
And so would we all. Truthfully, so would we all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. I mean, imagine having Hamas tanks and armored trucks and flags up and down the streets of Miami and New York and Boston, London, whatever. I mean, think about how, I don't care if you're Christian, Jewish, Asian, African American. From I'm in Southern Florida. We integrate well. We're the islands, South America, Canada. We integrate well, and that's my goal. That's my purpose. So frick these neo-Nazis, these white supremacists, these people that think they're better than me. You ain't better than me, brother. I'm a doctor. My dad was a doctor, a survivor. His dad was a dentist, killed at Auschwitz, like you said. You ain't better than me. I'm not better than any one of us.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm
As
not
a
going to
doctor,
swear unless you give me permission, because I could. And I'm
No, dude, you can say anything you want. You can say fuck those guys. They're pieces of shit. They can go fuck themselves. You can say whatever you want, man. Back to you.
You said it for me. I'll try to say it in a more polite way. Like when the New York Times says Mr. Bin Laden, and I'm waiting in these airport lines and clusterfuck, whatever, trying to get my car and this and that. And thank you very much, Mr. Bin Laden.
Wow.
Excuse me. So, Dr. Wolf, or can we call you Dr. Bob?
You can call me Rob. You can call me Dr. Rob. Just don't call me late for drinks.
We can call me Downey. You can call me Mr. Johnson. You can call me You can call me AJ. I'm sorry.
It's like that, yeah. My name is Robert J. Wolf. You can call me RJ. Robert J.
Okay. I like that. That's new. Bob, Rob.
So, my question is: the image of the person on the book, is that your grandfather? Your father?
No, my dad. No, the main character is my dad. It's his biography. It's a history of Hungary, little-known Hungary, from the end of World War I to the end of the Hungarian Revolution in '56. It's an adventure. My dad was a four-time escape artist. There were 20 miracles in the book. The book's won 4 awards, which is a miracle in itself. May I show the book real quick? I know you've got the picture.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, so is that his image?
I'm actually proud of that, but I'm not the kind of guy to tap myself on the back. I owe it to a big team of great people, my co-author, publisher, all that. But it's an adventure, and it's there's no sugarcoating in this book. There's happy endings. There's a happy ending. I'm around. My dad was around, but there's no sugarcoating. There's no pussyfooting around. My dad's parents perished at Auschwitz, and he was a dentist, a real threat to society, obviously. And my mom's grandfather, a rabbi, another real threat to society, also perished at Auschwitz. So, and many others, clowns and rabbis and people. Budapest and Hungary got crushed, and it was late in the war. So it's a history book too. It's history of Hungary, adventure, my dad's biography, all rolled into one. And I got to give you the punchline. Dad delivered 10,000 babies in the Detroit area with one big happy smile, no signs of PTSD. Just resilient, determined. He wanted to be free, and he wanted to be a doctor, and he was fortunate enough to do both. And
that's badass.
And then they wrote their autobiography in the '70s, and I turned it into a biography, and yada yada yada. Here we are.
So your dad is like the real life Steve McQueen.
Love it, man. Awesome.
Artist with the from the movie. Your dad is like the real life Steve McQueen.
Yeah, played by Tom Cruise, like him or not. There's a lot of running scenes, so Tom Cruise would be the guy. The guy from his best friend would be the guy from Speed. I can't think of the actor's name in a hurry, but
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves plays my dad's best friend Frank. Tom Hanks plays the nice guard in the forced labor camp, one of the few that gives them the sausages and doesn't urinate on them and torture them in other ways. There's just a lot to it. But yeah, we're querying movie producers, believe it or not. Now it's a long shot, and unfortunately, the LA fires might be an issue too, with some delays in response or not. I mean, it's a long shot. It's a fickle business writing a book. But yeah, I thought everybody that reads it says, yeah, this should be a movie, and I thought so myself. So when I read it as his autobiography, I said, this can't stay on a disc on a computer. This story needs to be shared. And that's my vector the last 6-7 years now. I'm highly motivated to fight hate. And they wrote the book as though they knew I was going to do this. And, don't you hate it when your parents are right? So,
just out of curiosity, actually, this is more, not curiosity. This is just more of I'm selfish. I'm a selfish prick. If you need a black guy with dreads to play, like, let's say a African Jew or something, maybe an African Hasidic Jew.
You can play Jesse Owens.
I could play an African.
That's a great.
Yeah,
that's a great reference, Jesse Owens.
Yeah. So just.
Let me ask you a serious question. Let me mute his mic and shut him up, and I'll ask you.
You're not the first one to say that. And look, I don't.
Just going to.
There's not a lot of talk about women in forced labor camps in our book, but that's an issue. Pets, and of course, African Hungarians. I'm not sure what the numbers were, but unfortunately, I think after the Jewish people were exterminated, the Muslims and these Muslim Jew haters and Nazi lovers, they don't get it. You're next. I mean, people of color, people LGBTQ, they were actually they perished. They were persecuted. You name it, Asians. It's there's this white supremacist race and everybody else, and I don't know what the thinking where that comes from, but now people are people, And that's I guess that's my bottom line, is that we should realize in America or the free world that whatever happened to my dad could happen to any one of us. Could be a bad local government, a national government, a natural disaster, bad neighbor, bad business deal, foreign government, anything that could change it, where you're on the run and you don't know where your next meal's coming from, where you're going to sleep, where you're going to work, and if you're going to be hunted down the next day. And it's a really sad thing. So people need to realize how good we have in this country, like it or not, who's in the White House, who's in the Senate, whatever. We voted for it, and we had the privilege to vote for it. So let's support what they're trying to do, whether you like them or not, because you don't have much choice. And the difference is the guns in our country are not pointed at me and you. The guns are pointed at the enemy, or so far.
I think they are kind of pointed at me, but that's beside the point.
Maybe you pissed off a lot of people.
ED, if you don't mind, I'd like to have a question on my
I do
program,
mind.
if I
Go
could.
ahead.
All
I
right.
do mind, but I reluctantly yield the floor.
GD.
About 2 years ago, I had a doctor on. A doctor who was a former musician who wrote La Chic. Remember that? La Freak Out, that song. And I Want You Back for the Jackson 5s. He produced that. He's a doctor. And he mentioned he was a black man, and he was talking about he had a Klan member who came to see him as a patient and didn't know he was going to see a black doctor, but he treated him anyway. The question is, if you had, as a doctor, if somebody came in like a skinhead neo-Nazi Aryan, would you treat that person, or would you send them elsewhere?
That is such a great question. And nobody has asked me that question. I imagine having Hitler in my synagogue with 100 of us surrounding him in a circle and all wanting to punch his lights out and just torture him the way that so many people had tortured. Not just 6 million Jews, 50 million people died in World War II, and never mind communist Hungary. But no, there's no room for racism or anti-Semitism or any kind of hate in my profession. And I know so few doctors that exhibit that, including one of my dad's partners, by the way. He was a really anti-Semitic, bigoted, racist guy back in the day. And I just thought about him the other day, Dr. Sims, way back. But no, I would treat him. I mean, I read x-rays. I just retired, by the way, but x-ray, CAT scan, MRI, I've been reading out of Michigan from home the last 5-6 years, and a great percentage of the patients are Muslim American, and the 99% plus are peaceful people anyway. I mean, we're talking about this hate by less than 1% of the people, and what I'm trying to do is to wrap around that, get people to team up to get rid of that, either by education or unfortunately military and force needs to be a part of it. They're shunning foreigners from Harvard. Maybe not the best idea in the world, but it's a start. I mean, let's have people reconsider. I'd give my left nut to go to Harvard. One of the worst days of my life was when I got rejected from undergrad: Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Stanford. And
Well, that's actually what it costs to go to Harvard now. It is the left nut.
No, right one.
But you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I would gladly read their chest X-ray, ankle X-ray, CAT scan, MRI, ultrasound, you name it. It's what I do, and there's no room for that kind of thing. So that, and my dad's father tried to survive at Auschwitz by telling the whoever the intake person was that he was a doctor, that he could be useful in the camp, and he ended up cleaning up the feces, cleaning up the waste, from the barracks, and he died a week later from cholera, most likely cholera. So that's how the doctor got treated in Auschwitz, in World War II. So no, it's not. It's a great question, and no, it's not my. Now, if a guy had a gun to my head, well, I wouldn't have a choice. Read this X-ray, or I'm going to kill you. And the guy, all right, it's negative, or you got pneumonia, and or you got cancer, God forbid, and he shoots me anyway. Like in Schindler, that kind of thing. So
yeah.
Now, my question, because I am according to my genealogy, my DNA test, I am 9% Jewish. So I'm assuming that they would not kill me in Auschwitz. They would just give me lipo, because that's about 9%.
No, we've already established that they hated Jews, but they also hated blacks. They hated Italians. They hated Chinese. They hated everybody that wasn't blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and Aryan.
It's the same as Mississippi Burning. You ever see that great movie about 1964 Mississippi? It was not just the blacks; it was the Jews too, and the 3 kids that were killed. 2 of them were crusaders. They were 2 Jewish kids and the black kid. How about Samuel L. Jackson in the movie Driving Miss Daisy? He says, and I'm paraphrasing, it's always going to be the same people, and that's what it is. So mongrels, Turks.
We all look alike, though.
We do. We do. We're all from the same DNA. And being a radiologist or in medicine, we're designed to enjoy and enlighten about the beauty of the body, the cell, the anatomy, the way we're structured. Not just humans, animals, dogs, cats, giraffes, you name it. And these people, the Hamas and Hitler and Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein, and we go on and on. Khan, Castro, they would not think twice about killing somebody, beheading them in just seconds, or torturing them. And it's just not that's what I'm fighting. But it's such a different mentality that I can't grasp it. But no, you're right. You got the same. We're on the same page here, which I appreciate. By the way, it's not. I need more people like you guys to help me fight it, and it's well appreciated. And we had a little twist of humor, because you got to be, if I'm going to die, I may as well laugh about it. If I'm in a jet crash, God forbid, or that'd be impossible to laugh. But you got to try to look on the bright side, like my dad did, and have that hope and have that determination.
On Twitter this morning, somebody commented that I don't know what happened to America. He said he's 62 years old, and his whole life he never saw such anti-Semitism and hate, Jew hate, in America. And my reaction to that, although I didn't comment back to him, is that it's always been there. It's just people feel more emboldened to talk about it now. Do you think it's like it's a new wave of anti-Semitism, or do you think it's just people feeling free to kind of bring it out and express it now?
Another great question. Only time will tell. This is my 100th podcast, by the way. So, and I can't fight anti-Semitism alone. I need a large group of people, Judeo-Christian, Hindu. By the way, we get great support, Israel, and for myself too, from India. So, for example, no, and I'm doing TV interviews. I've done 20 TV interviews, 4 radio interviews, 37 presentations. I'm booked to go to Vegas through Podmatch, by the way, in a couple of weeks for a live in-studio podcast, which is really cool. And I implore people to call their congressman, ask them, what are you doing about anti-Semitism? And thank our military and our police for their service, that kind of thing. If I'm a dean, a great question I had a couple of weeks ago was, what would I do if I were the dean of Harvard? And I had to think, long and hard about that. But recruit other deans, other people from other schools, Ivy League and otherwise, to brainstorm and see what are we going to do about that, what's going on campuses. Do I think it's going to get contained? I hope so. Education is the key. Education starts at home, of course, and hate is hate and love is love, but it's got to be taught in the schools as well. So I don't say no to any invitation. I'll go. I might be going to Texas, maybe Yale, one of my alma maters, in the fall, which would be great. And just keep moving while I can. That's the only way to do it, and stop the violence. And love thy neighbor. Do something else. If you hate your life so much that you got to go sit out and protest, then change your life. Get a different job. Work part-time. Give back to the community. Volunteer somewhere. Write your own book. Write an opera. Write a play, a poem, whatever. Do something different. Don't sit there and whine and complain about how things are, because nobody cares. They care about love, and whatever little time we have on this planet, it should be used wisely. Family time, whatever vacation. It's more to life than food, shelter, clothing. There's other things in the world.
I have a question for you real quick, though.
Sure. Take your time.
Could I don't know if I'm an ally or not, but I do believe that the truth should be out there, and that we should address the anti-Semitism that's out there, and all the racism. That's it. But do you believe that what Netanyahu is doing helps the cause?
Well, I'm probably a little biased. He's just trying to survive. You may or may not like Trump as well, but I think he really believes in trying to help his country survive. And it's very difficult when the truth gets distorted. I'm not a real political guy, by the way. I'm maybe a little bit right of center. I think he's way more intelligent than a lot of Americans. I mean, he is articulate. He's got his purpose. He doesn't want Iran to have a nuclear bomb, which who does? I mean, we're on the same page on that part.
Well, I agree with that, but I'm talking about, because a lot of what he's doing, though, for example, he pretty much almost any Jewish president should do that. But I believe his goals are him basically like trying to squelch the Supreme Court there. He's basically trying to stay out of prison, it seems to me, because a lot of the stuff he was doing It's not for the good of
the
the
question
people.
was about Netanyahu. Now you're talking about Trump, right? I just want to be clear.
No, I'm talking about Netanyahu.
Let's talk about Netanyahu. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't know all the details of that. I know that he's a controversial guy. I truthfully think he really cares about his country and he's trying to defend. I'm going to say all that. I don't believe in dictatorship or oligarchy, if that helps. I believe in a House and a Senate. So when people say, "Oh, the government stinks" or the White House stinks, it's not just one guy doing this. It's a team of people. Marco Rubio from down here from Southern Florida, he's trying to integrate. It's hard. And truthfully, I wouldn't want to be a politician right now. I wouldn't want to be the dean of a university right now. So you got so many difficult decisions. They're still bombing Ukraine. They're still bombing Gaza, and it's sad. But eventually, hopefully, it stops. I saw something real quick this morning. I was, in a hurry just to make it to this. That about Hamas people. Now they're waving American flags and they're bypassing the brutal dictators, the military, the people that are running Gaza. To obviously, it's a humanitarian crisis, but they're trying to change the way things are, and it's been going on for a few weeks, and without military support. So hopefully, these people get their voice across. It happened in Syria. It used to be Iran. Iran was almost like I can't say normal, but a younger, more democratic society, and something changed. It got enveloped, I guess, by.
Well, the younger people are still for that. It's the government itself pushed back on it. They crushed that. The younger people still want the freedom. They still want to be U.S. light.
And still, the basic premise is hating is easy. It's easy for anybody to hate.
I hate you.
No doubt about it. I mean, we all have these initial biases. Like when we're in an airport and I see all these thousands of people, we assume this person has this kind of culture. We assume this person's from, let's say, somebody who's Asian looking, and I think that they might be from China or Vietnam, and then I hear their British accents and look at their tattoos, and I say, oh, well, they're from the UK or Australia or whatever. So we all have our little initial glance biases, but hate, you're right, you have to fight it off. It's easy to be a sheep. That's something I'm not. There's leadership, and leadership takes time. Leadership comes from within. It takes integrity. It takes honesty. It takes education and patience. And you're right. I couldn't. Hate is easier. It's easier to just fall in this trap. But send your neighbor a cup of coffee or a cake or a cookie or just do a kind thing for somebody, and that'll. One person at a time, and I don't want to sound corny, but it's really how it's got to work.
I think you're right about that. Now, this book is an important book just from its historical context, but and this is where I want to address this, because there's a guy, Daryl Cooper. He's been pushing this, and this is a rehash of something that was going around in the 70s, and I don't remember the guy who first brought it up, his name, but the idea that Hitler was actually showing kindness because they just took all these prisoners and they were going to starve to death. So as an act of kindness, and rather than letting the Jews starve to death, let's just gas them all. And they're selling this as like it's true, revisionist history, and a lot of people are very willing to go down this. The Holocaust never happened. If it did happen, it was a good thing because it was an act of kindness. It's like, whoa, where the fuck is this world going to, that people are willingly gravitating to this idea and selling it and repurposing it and going out there and selling it? How does that take root, and what do you do to combat that kind of rewriting of history?
Well, I'm not going, it's wrong, obviously, but truthfully, let's stuff these people into hot train cars, standing room only for hours at a time. Let's see how they do it, in the cold of winter or in the heat of summer. In Yom Kippur, I fast for a day, and that's hard enough, let alone, can't imagine starving for days and weeks. That's hard enough, let them try that, and people that commit hate crimes should be taught about books like mine and others that are just as important to see, because it could be you. And another thing, my parents wrote this as though they knew what happened to them 60, 80 years ago was going to happen again, and it just doesn't sit well. And I don't advocate death, but for my dad's parents, and it took him months to find out what had actually happened to him by an eyewitness survivor, which is another miracle in the book. They didn't last long, and maybe that was it was a grace to them that his dad died about a weekend and his mom died immediately. She was on a train car, probably scared to death, screaming people losing their feces and urine. I mean, you can't even imagine. And you're already starving because you've already been corralled in town squares before they hauled you off. And so you're probably and sickness. We don't talk about illness that much, pestilence. But no, that let them feel what a taste is like, what that tastes like. I mean, and educate about it. But another thing that's denied by these young kids are 9/11. People are denying 9/11 now, and I'm like, well, 9/11 those American targets. That wasn't Jews. Jews died, Muslims, Asians, African Americans, 3,000 people, and then all the collateral, the illnesses that came out of it, the cost of rebuilding, the cost of travel. It's what a mess. I mean, so if you're going to deny that, you go back to the history book, and these teachers need to look back at the history book as well. So, it's just
but the insinuation. The insinuation that the Holocaust was made up. Yeah, imagine if just go down that rabbit hole for a second. What kind of depravity it would take to make up the Holocaust, to kind of imagine that stuff happened. You'd have to have, like, again, I was bringing this up, you'd have to have a mind that made Stephen King's Nightmares seem like just like a walk in the park. I mean, the kind of mind, and you'd have to trace it back to this idea of this phony Holocaust, if this is what the thing you want to sell, had to start with somebody. Somebody had to come up with this where it was all fake. And here's the idea. We put them in gas chambers. We made lampshades and wallets out of. I mean, this is a sick mind that would have to come up with this. Nobody ever addresses that. Like, how sick would you have to be to actually manufacture that idea? But somehow
it can't be done. No, I agree. And there's so much evidence that it existed. I mean, it's dead bodies, bones, and Eisenhower went to a camp at the end of the war, and all the soldiers that were there, and the Nazis were not only meticulous about systematically killing people, but also they documented it well. They took a lot of photographs. They sent it to their families, telling what they were doing day to day. So the Nazis themselves, they weren't covering it up at all. So I can't speak for Asia. I'm sure that Asia, there were probably a lot of photographs. It's not really my corner of history, but the Nazis, they sent a lot of photographs, and I've seen a lot of disturbing photos in this journey of mine, and some I haven't even posted yet because they're just so heavy, and I'm not big into shock. The shock.
So you have nude pictures of my first wife, then?
If she's got nice bouncing boobs on TikTok or Instagram, I probably do. If they, and that's a problem too, because it's a competitive business. I'm trying to talk about fighting hate, and the competition are exactly that. 1 million hits on a pretty lady with the cleavage or the nipples or whatever, and boobs over books for sure, and myself included. So
boobs over
books. The book thing, there's so
that's
many
a T-shirt.
That is a T-shirt. I was just thinking, this is what this monetized. Yeah,
you heard it here first. I want it, and all my money goes.
I can see the image. It's just a book and then a pair of tits sitting right on top of it.
I love it. That's it. In Florida, even the small boobs are big here. So. And all this plastic surgery or natural, but I'm busting balls. But it's true that it's so competitive. The entertainment, not the entertainment dollar, but the entertainment minute, the entertainment time is competitive because there's Netflix and there's golf and there's physical education.
And there's this
time and other books and movies. So and we all have a lower attention span now. Like, I don't even know if I could go through med school now again because I'm a victim of it too. That we have this generalized ADHD that. And then, of course, that's come up as a problem too, of course, in this country. But we all have a little bit of it, and it's because we like this instant gratification. Don't want to be in McDonald's line more than 5 minutes, or we get really cranky or impatient, or coffee line at Dunkin' Donuts, whatever the case. So it's hard to get somebody to read a 400-page book, and on the other hand, it's hard to describe somebody's life in 400 pages, or a podcast, or a 15, 20-minute book talk, which that's really well received. But how do you put a guy's life or anybody's life in 400 pages? It's beyond me.
So we have the link to your book. We have the link to your book in the description. It's scrolling across the bottom there where they can get it on Amazon. Not a Real Enemy. Just talk to me. We only have a couple minutes here. Talk to me about the significance of that, because I've never heard that phrase, not a real enemy. What is the significance of that?
Well, my co-author, Janice Harper, unbelievable. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be talking about any of this. I'd be still, cluttered up in my gopher hole. But my original title was The Hungarian Papillon, the Hungarian butterfly, after the great, well-known escape artist from Devil's Island. It would have been Hungarian Papillon, Dad's Story. But she said that the younger reader would not understand the reference. So she talked me out of that. The other thing I had was the sixth book of Moses. Because my dad's name was Moshe in Hebrew, and with all the miracles that happened, that would have been another thought, that the sixth book of Moses. But Not a Real Enemy was it's prevalent throughout the theme is there throughout the book, as you can see. There is a chapter called Not a Real Enemy, and the arrogant Soviets. The night before my dad escaped, his fourth escape in 1956, he snuck into the balls on this guy. He sneaks into the medical center that's torn apart by the war between security guards to read his dossier to see what the communists have to say about him. So in case they got caught or arrested, then he would know. And they described him as not a real enemy. He was politically immature, they said. My dad only practiced medicine. He wouldn't share his opinions. He wouldn't buy into communism, nor would my mom, even though some of his colleagues and other students tried to get them to do that. But he disguised his feelings so well that they described him as not a real enemy. But in the end, my mom, a med student at the time, and my dad, fully trained doctor, who had to double down as a trauma surgeon, besides his OBGYN, by the way, during that war, were a real enemy because they left the country the next day, and Hungary lost two really good people because of their bullshit, So 2 wars, 2 repressive regimes, just no rights. They couldn't have a legal Jewish wedding, for example, and they did one anyway. And the guy that sponsored it got hauled off to a Soviet jail for 13 months and tortured, and he was the chief of surgery in a hospital in Budapest. So not a real enemy. My parents, that's how they described him. The theme goes throughout the book. And in the end, the irony is that my mom and dad were a real enemy because even in the United States, my mom would say, we would not vote for the Nazis and we would not vote for the communists. So we vote for the best man, the best candidates. And so she wouldn't buy into being in any, we are not in any political party, because, and that's really what she meant. And so they were a real enemy because they hated. They loved Mother Hungary, but not.
It's really strange that we have to choose between 2 extremes, like Nazism or communism. That puts us in a very difficult position. So as far as the book goes, is there hope in this book?
There's hope, there's determination, there's resilience, there's loneliness, there's humor, there's sadness. It's bring a tissue. Even working on it, I had to walk away for a week, 10 days, when I read about what happened to my grandparents at Auschwitz, because those are the grandparents I never met. They died at 50, and they lived a very generous and very fulfilling life at one point. And they had to struggle before that too. So with poverty and just trying to climb along the ladder. So that's, there's hope. There's hope. There's hope for this world. Just got to 1 person at a time.
All right. That's a good message, I guess. 1 person at a time. I think I agree that it's probably impossible to change like millions of minds at once or change millions of hearts at once. You have to start 1 person at a time. It seems like that's an impossible fight to fight, though, because we have so many people whose hearts are filled with hatred towards other people, and it's a really dark place. Anyway.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch. That's for sure.
All right. Good for you. Thanks for being here. The book is called Not a Real Enemy. The link is in the description. Sorry about the delay and all the link stuff. I'm sure you'll find them after the program's over. They'll be popping up for the next 6 months. You'll be getting links from me now.
You have a great portfolio, by the way, and I'm using a lot of your pictures so check out my posts from today, and then I'll post when the podcast is released as well. Fantastic photos you got, and you got a great profile too. So I appreciate you having me on for sure. It's a real privilege.
Thanks for being here. Not a Real Enemy, folks. Available now on Amazon. Go get the book and learn something about history. Thanks for being here. Have a great day, and bye for now.
Thank you.
All right then. Let's not forget about history. How about that? You guys are
Deep
quiet.
into
Now
a
you're
bucket.
quiet, GD. What happened? You just want to talk over me, and now the guest is gone, and you're quiet. Oh, you're like, I'm not getting nothing to say." You know why? Because you talked out. You're all fucking talked out.
No, not exactly. I'm doing something
What are you
important.
doing?
None of your damn business. If I
Well, I
wanted
want
to
to
know,
tell
I'd
you,
be talking
I want.
about it.
I was gonna make you. I was gonna make you an offer you can't refuse, or you could refuse, but
I did
you don't.
refuse. I'm refusing to talk about it. I got stuff to do.
Well, the offer was that they're begging me now to do this thing for the Louis C.K. thing. Now, I told them I'm on the air and I can't make it. Can I go to Tony and say, I'll get GD to play the part for me and I'll go do the paint party? So are you still willing to drive all the way to Hicksville, Long Island to do this murder mystery if I can get Tony to agree to use you instead of me? And then I go do this.
Now, when is this now?
June
June
6th.
what?
June 6th, 7
6th?
p.m. in Hicksville, New York.
And that's a Friday?
It's a Friday, not Friday. Friday.
Friday?
Day. Fry.
My wife gave me permission to do it before she left. And then I told her it wasn't going to happen.
What
So
kind of whipped little boy are you? I got to get permission from my wife. You're like a Stephen Ortiz little fucking sissy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
It's all right, buddy.
I apologize for that.
I know it's from a place of love, and it's okay. Or indigestion, one of the two.
Well,
It's fine.
yeah, and Stephen doesn't have a wife he has to ask permission from right now. He's got a fake AI girlfriend that he has to ask permission from. So,
wow.
Ask permission from anybody.
Imagine having to ask permission from a fake AI girlfriend.
I don't ask permission from anybody. I just go.
Really?
No
Ooh, look at you.
stems, only seeds.
Does Beaver have any comment on Stephen? I would love. I mean, I was hoping for some breaking news.
Mannequin pussy.
I did get a message that saying somebody wants my Funko Pop, though.
Well, he did. This was about you. Death threats make sense. Everyone who meets you wants to kill you. Not everyone. I would say
Oh,
the
that
majority.
makes sense.
The majority of people.
That's fair.
I saw you posting.
Yep.
Now, somebody made this cartoon character of you, right? This cartoon avatar, I guess, or whatever it is. But it looks like you have no. It looks like it doesn't do you. You're posting this as if it's flattering. It's not flattering. It makes you look like a pancake boy.
I am a pancake boy. I'm like a melted snow cone. It's okay.
What do you think TD's actually doing right now?
I think he's trying to find his dick.
Yeah. All right.
No, I'm trying to
or
find a greater
maybe he
than or
can see
less.
it now. Finally,
I'm trying to find a less than or greater than symbol. Okay.
It's just the bed.
Play Boo Reporter, please.
Oh, you're not on a keyboard. You're on the phone, right?
I'm on my keyboard. My keyboard does not have a greater than and less than.
I'm just going to empty into a bucket.
Next to the M, right? Just right to the right
Oh
of the
God,
M.
yeah.
All right. I think you have to hold the shift down here.
Welcome to Boomer Corner, the only corner that you can get stuck in.
Now, that's obviously a insult to be calling somebody a boomer these days. But I think the millennials are a real problem today. I mean, you look at Steven's generation; they seem totally lost. So boomers may get a little foggy every once in a while, but
every generation is lost. So every generation has their fucked up shit.
Really. What about these generation next? You down on them? Because I'm kind of hopeful for them. And look at me, Mr. Hopeful. You down on them?
Well, we'll see. Let's just get through the next couple of years because
I'm not getting through the next couple of years. I think we've established. I'm trying to get through this summer.
I mean, between the terrible leadership that's just not in this country but throughout the world. I mean, we were just talking about Yahoo. He's.
I think it's Netanyahu, but yeah, Yahoo.
Yeah, but I mean,
serious.
Yahoo.
I mean, no matter how you call it, genocide's genocide. So, no matter what, and you know, the Earth has a great history of that, between what happened in World War II to what people did to the Armenians and the list goes on and on and on.
You know what? I want to talk about this history idea because, again, coming back to my illusion of having Matt Delahanty on, because all of the references about Jesus we talk about are all from the Bible, right? And there's not a whole lot of history that backs up the Jesus stuff, whether he was a real person. Dr. Wolf mentioned Moses. Is there a historical evidence of Moses actually being a real person?
Yes.
Yeah? No?
There is,
According
I think he's
to my teacher.
Outside of the Bible, historical.
According to my teacher, she said that she witnessed in Egypt places where the name Moses was in like hieroglyph, and they were scratched out, like they were trying to stricken the name from the record, like it says in the Bible. The name of Moses will be stricken from all of our records.
All right. So now the question I have is
I've seen that on History Channel also, where they showed that.
So, because the question it brings me to, because Moses was what, 2,000 years before Jesus, or no, 1,000 years before Jesus, something like that.
2,000, yeah.
I don't know. Let me look it up in the Bible cinematic universe.
Page 34. So if there is
cinematic universe,
yeah, right.
If there is historical reference for Moses, who was significantly earlier than Jesus, historical record outside of the Bible, why is there none for Jesus? Or am I just not aware of the?
Well, there's two theories depending on if you believe that Jesus was a real person. There's two theories for that. One theory is that Moses, if the story of Moses is real, then he was treated as royalty. He was raised like an Egyptian prince. So there would be documentation of his life being part of royalty. Two, another theory is that Moses actually became a general for the Israelis. He was a general. So being of that stature, he would have a record. Jesus, if he were real, would have been an ordinary man, just like any other man, spouting off scripture and quoting the Torah and stuff like that. It was not an uncommon thing. And Jesus also would have been one of 18 different saviors that they had at that time, or 18 different messiahs. So messiahs were almost a dime a dozen at that time, so he would not have stood out. The only reason why we know about
that's a T-shirt
because he had a good
too,
PR guy.
Dime a dozen messiahs, which is definitely a T-shirt. But I don't know. He's enough of an agitator to Rome that you would think there would be some historical record. No,
again, agitators are a dime a dozen. They didn't have enough nails for all the agitators.
How come they didn't? There weren't religions built up around all these other agitators who were a dime a dozen.
Again, the PR. Jesus had good PR. The other guys did not.
PR.
Yeah, good PR guy. Paul. If you look at the Bible, the New Testament, most of that shit is Paul. Okay, most of it's Paul, not Jesus. If you take the the red letters of Jesus, the red letter words that he's supposed to have taken, it's probably 3% of the New Testament, if that 4%. I didn't do the actual math. Somebody else can do the math.
Let's pause for 1 second.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact.
I don't know. I thought you were a legitimate theologian, and now you just, it seems like you're just kind of pulling.
Theology is totally different from Bible history.
Yeah, I got it right here in my Bible. It says on page 197 in Proverbs 15:21, if that ass ain't eaten, you eating that ass.
I'm not sure that's what it says.
I'm paraphrasing.
What page was that? What 70? What? I think they rode asses. They didn't eat asses.
Well, hey, if you would follow the Bible cinematic universe, this wouldn't be a problem, Matt.
The Bible cinematic.
It's true, because after Proverbs, you got Proverbs, then you got first opinions and second opinions, and it just goes from there. And you just have to really understand what you're reading to really get the.
So there's no amateur verbs. There's only proverbs.
It does make me laugh.
Amateur verbs.
I was going to say, it does make me laugh when a movie comes out and the whole premise is about a couple that can't get together because the parents are mad about the one person's religion. Like when you come out with that premise, I automatically laugh. It's like, well, tell those people to go fuck themselves and live your own life. Done.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
hey, mom and dad, eat it. I like this.
See now, boobs over books. I don't know. It's not really. It's not working for me. No,
Okay.
That's a bad
No.
graphic. You're not a graphic artist.
Also,
you're a bullshit.
I thought not only should we do boobs over books, but we should do boobs over hate.
Okay.
Welcome to Minucci's.
So that it wouldn't have to be so complicated on the artwork.
GD mentioned, I don't know where you got the 9% from, the 9% Jewish. Did you go to 23andMe? Is that where you got that?
Which one didn't go bankrupt?
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, I just got a text. I just got a text from Minucci's. They're going to have a boobs over books celebration this weekend, this Saturday. So come on out, bring some books, because we're going to need those books to burn to keep the grill going. So come on out, plenty of hot women, and we're going to burn some books.
No charcoal or?
No, we got the books, man.
Welcome to Minucci.
I don't know which one didn't go bankrupt because I want to do this 23andMe type of thing.
Mine is the one that didn't go bankrupt. I can't remember because my wife gave it to me as a gift.
I didn't know. What was there a competitor? I don't know.
Well, there's Ancestry.com, and then there's 23andMe, and then there's I think a third one, but I'm not certain. But the one that did not go bankrupt is the one that my wife gave me the thing for.
Here's the reason I'm curious about this. I want to do this because I am certain my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was German Jewish. And my ex-brother, you remember that brother I used to have before the election? He's kind of anti-Semitic, and doesn't want to accept that we are like an eighth Jewish. And I think this is the only way to prove it is to go through one of these DNA tests, right? So I want to do it and know the cost and what I really have to do. I don't have to take. Cause I feel like I like the Jew part of me. I do. I think the Jewish guy, the Jewish influence.
Now, do you like the heritage part or the stereotype part?
Well, just the part that I got from my grandmother. I'm just saying the things that I got from her, I think are the best parts of my personality, which is why it's the least part of my makeup. Because there's not a whole lot of good in me. But I think if you took all the best parts of me, I could attribute it back to my Jewish grandmother, or half Jewish grandmother. But like my Irish grandfather, even though I loved him, he was a mean son of a bitch, and that's a lot of me too. But my brother, who was a bit anti-Semitic, I have to say, if any mention of my grandmother being half Jewish, like, will set him off into like, that's bullshit. I don't know where you're getting that stuff. Her last name was Zimmerman with 2 N's. I mean, come on. Anyway, so I want to find out about it. You don't know how you determine you were 9%.
My grandpa hated the Jews pretty bad.
They like I said, it was told to me. They sent off the spit. And they sent me back my ancestry, the Jewish part, the white part, the Native American part, the Negro part.
No, I can't tell you how many times I've been called anti-Semitic names in comments. Like the one woman on YouTube basically heard me talking and she said, "How come all you Jews are so vulgar?" Obviously, I was saying some pretty.
Oh, geez.
I know. It's like, what made you even consider? Like, if you look at my last name, that would not, and my channel name, that would not give you any indication that I was.
Yeah,
is it?
You know what? It was a really
That's why I asked if it was the heritage part. That's why I asked you when you talk, the heritage part or the stereotype part. You know, because I have my 9% Jewishness has nothing. It has nothing to do with anything that I do or say. Even though I did speak Hebrew for a while and I had a rabbi, I was not Jewish. You know, I was not an observant Jew. You know.
Well, I think the one thing that Jews and Catholics have in common is lots of rules. rules, right?
Yeah,
And
but
feast.
the
A lot of
the
feasts.
Catholics break them all the time, though. They're just kind of there for like, if you want to. I mean, sure, there are some dirty Catholics that follow it, but for the most part, it's like fish on Friday and blah.
Yeah. Well,
I only say that because my wife is a dirty Catholic, so I'm allowed
dirty
to say
Catholic. that. Yeah, I don't know what. And I was having this discussion with somebody who knew me went back when I was Catholic, because I left the Catholic Church at 10 years old. And it's like that. I made my confirmation, and I'm confirmed. I'm out, type of thing. But I don't know why people could just walk away. Why, if you don't like the rules, just walk away from the religion. Now,
I'm not
Judaism.
even baptized in any religion, which I love.
Wow.
I'm not dirty. I'm not dirty. I
But
love it.
Jewish is different in that it's both a religion and a culture, right? So, because I know a lot.
It's
Is a
considered a
Jew
race
who's an
and a
atheist.
religion.
He's not religious, and most of the Long Island people I am friendly with who are Jewish are either atheist or just non-religious at all. You couldn't find that in Catholicism. Like, I'm an anti-religious Catholic. No, it doesn't make any sense. But to walk away from the culture and the church is pretty easy for Catholics, I think. It would just seem like so much hypocrisy and stupid rules and all that kind of stuff. Who needs it? Why hold on to it if, you know?
But like me and Steven were saying earlier, like the Baptists are much worse though than Catholics because everything you do, you burn in hell. You can't listen.
Oh yeah.
You listen to this movie. You listen to this song. It burn in hell. Watch this movie. Burn in hell.
Oh
do
man.
This, burn in hell. Burn in hell.
Well, this is what I kind of want to talk to these
burnings,
people.
music burnings. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this idea of a all-forgiving but yet still vengeance-driven God. Like this, that doesn't make any. He's all-forgiving, but all you have to do is say "I love you" or accept him, and he'll forgive you. But unless you don't, then he's really vengeful, and he's going to make you burn. I don't think.
Well, I mean, one of the key storylines is like God impregnates a woman without her consent. So that's the one main plot line of the Bible, right?
I don't think it was that without her consent. He went to her in a dream, and she didn't say no.
Okay, so in those days, without consent. So anyway, moving on from that, in a dream, my ass.
Oh no, definitely. That's one of the major. Like, wait a minute, you're gonna believe this? This sounds like a. I don't want to give up the guy. I don't want to. Oh, it probably was. I don't know. But it sounds like she's covering up for somebody. Nobody in today's world, if you got impregnated.
It sounds like the guy who wrote it was covering up something. That's what I'm saying.
The guy who wrote it. Well, it was written 100 years later, right? But this whole history of Mary now, because she was kind of persecuted in a lot of ways. I don't know if this is history or Bible stuff. But I've been seeing a lot of stuff written about her lately, as if she was a real person and persecuted for that story. Like, you wouldn't believe if your 13-year-old daughter came home and said, I don't know, somehow in a dream I got impregnated. You'd be like, "Where's the guy? I'm going to kill him." Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, what?
But meanwhile, it's been 2,000 years and people are still clinging to that story. Like, had to be true.
Yeah, it really needs a reboot.
They only have the word of a couple of people. No.
So all this shakes my faith in anything. Like, what is real? Who knows what to fucking believe? But I don't know how you believe in anything as far as what the hell we're doing here. Lately I've been thinking a lot about the idea of. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever have met anybody in your life where you felt like you knew them before you knew them?
Sure.
Couple times.
And what do you attribute that to?
Same thing I attribute it to deja vu to.
Huh? Say that.
They just have some. It's the same thing I attribute deja vu to. I think they just have features and personality traits that I find comforting and soothing versus, someone who's agitating and gives me angst.
GD,
that's kind of what I attribute it to.
What do you attribute that
I'm of two minds of that, and one of them is similar to what um, the cripple said. No, one is similar to what Stephen said, and that is that.
Well, is that the pot called the kettle ginger?
We subconsciously have a subconscious record of people we've been interacted with. And so when we see certain features, it's like a shorthand. You see eyes shaped a certain way, it's like a shorthand. You hear a voice a certain way, there's a shorthand. And so you kind of like know what those traits are and what they trigger in you. The other thing is that there is a level of consciousness that I cannot explain. I have seen things that I should not have and did not have the privilege to see in 3D in the real life, but I would still know about them. And I've been part of people being able to divine what's in concealed containers without having to see them. So I believe there's a part of the human psyche that I can't explain that could be, spiritual.
I'm sorry, you got more to say about that? Keep going.
Sure, go ahead. I can stop right there.
So do you dismiss the idea? Because some people have said to me it's proof of reincarnation. Do you dismiss that outright?
I can't. My problem with reincarnation is people need to define what they mean by reincarnation. It's because if they mean that whatever is left of us after we die, if there's something that left, carries over to another world and then comes back into this one, like some people have like an idea of like substantiation. Like if you die and a bad person, you'll come back as a cow, or you'll come back as a snake, or I don't believe in that at all. I don't,
that sounds
far-fetched. Or as a possibility.
I would have come back as like the word, like a cockroaches.
Since I don't know what happens to our consciousness when we're gone.
Yeah,
I don't know that it can't return.
See, here's the problem I have with reincarnation. It's math. It's math, right? If there are 8 billion souls on the planet, well, then new souls being created, or are all of them reincarnated? Because we never had 8 billion people before. Where did all these souls come? The math doesn't add up, right?
My theory for that, and again, this is my hypothesis because I haven't tested it because I haven't died yet. But my hypothesis is that all creatures are trying to evolve toward godhood, or toward the state of highest consciousness. So if you're a bacteria, you're trying to become a germ. If you're a germ, you're trying to become an amoeba. If you're an amoeba, you're trying to evolve to, eventually a snake, cat, dog, gorilla, person.
You're Steven, you're trying to become me.
Person, angel, like that. And so the other billions of souls would have evolved from lower species that eventually became human souls, and then they come into a baby. That's just a hypothesis. I have no way of knowing or verifying, or even though I don't know if it's true or not. But
are you like Eric Weinstein? You're bitter at the world for not accepting your hypothesis?
No.
All right.
I don't even share it with people because I know how wacky it sounds.
This reminds. Have any of you watched the latest season of Black Mirror on Netflix?
No, but I did watch the Pee Wee Herman biography.
Ron, you can assume that when you start to say, "Have any of you watched?" I'm out.
Well, I know. I should have just asked Steven. But anyway, there is an episode that kind of deals like with death and things like that, and a subscription service, and you should check it out. It's worth it. This guy's wife gets sick, and just say it gets the subscription is nice.
Well, the reason
I like I saw a movie. I saw a movie recently where they would upload. I think we talked about it before. Where they upload your consciousness into a computer program, which is heaven, so people can come visit you and interact with you through a screen. It was so weird. It was such a weird, trippy thing.
No, let the dead be dead. That's what I'm all for. Let rest in peace, buddy. Go ahead.
And that's the other thing about this. According to now, again, when I was studying to be a minister, there was a certain school of thought that we adhered to, Theosophical Society.
By the way, can I just stop you right? Do that in Jim Morrison's voice. When I was back in seminary school. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
Okay, there was a certain school of thought that we there's certain
Jim
philosophy that I adhere to, and that was
Get
the
out.
Theosophical Society. I mean, I kind of like the Rosicrucians and stuff like that, but mainly the Theosophical Society. And shit, you threw me off.
He's having a Joe Biden moment.
No, when you talked, I went back and I forgot what I was great.
Yeah, Joe Biden, GD Biden. Yeah, go ahead. Biden. You were talking about seminary school. When you were back in seminary school, someone put forth the idea that you could petition the Lord with prayer. Petition the Lord with prayer. Petition the Lord with prayer.
No.
Stephen doesn't even know who Jim Morrison is. Pathetic.
Oh, the Doors?
Oh, yes, of the Doors. Anyway.
Stephen thinks it's Val Kilmer.
It is Val Kilmer.
No.
Well,
hey, he
I
did
wasn't
good
trying
that
to.
movie, man.
The reincarnation thing and this whole idea of knowing somebody, because there's somebody, I'll put it right out there. The first real love of my life. I met her on the beach.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I met her on the beach. I was certain that I knew her very well the first time I laid eyes on her, and I knew how it was all going to play out, and it didn't go well. And to be honest with you, we had a long distance relationship. I was already in college. She was going to be a freshman. She went up to upstate New York. I went back to New Mexico, and expected that we were going to see each other at the Christmas break, and neither one of us was going to cheat on her. And so she did.
How'd that feel?
Yeah, and then I lost my mind, like jealous, and became like a crazy person, and. For 55 years now, I've been kind of walking around with the guilt and shame of I ruined that relationship. But I was like rethinking it, like she fucking cheated on me, even though it was foolish to think she wouldn't. I mean, even her grandmother told me, you're gonna be at different schools. There's no way you can make that work, and I was foolish. But I thought, you know what? I started thinking maybe this was because it felt so much like. This is somebody I've known forever. And on a first meeting, I'm thinking, is this like a lesson I was supposed to learn, like early in life? Get my heart broken by somebody and learn that you can't make long distance relationships work. Almost as if this was like a predestined fuck up that I've been taking the blame for 55 years, and it's everything. It's a two-way street. She's the one who fucking cheated. I mean, she was the one being dishonest about it, and I let her get away with that and making me feel bad for losing my mind over it, as a jealous young man would do. I don't know.
I'm just going to empty into a bucket.
Yeah, all right.
Because
we're going to get Kill Tony to reach into the bucket and call my name.
So did she cheat on you, or did she cheat on what you thought the relationship should be? In other words, was she being true to herself, which turned out to be?
She was a very horny young girl, and she ended up marrying the guy that she cheated with me on. But
okay,
and then she cheated on him with another guy that she's married to now.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
well,
I was just thinking. For what you said, just made me think, like, if you're a woman and you're home alone and you're very religious and you're masturbating with a dildo and someone catches you,
oh my god,
couldn't you say that I'm just fucking God right now?
No, you say I'm fucking a plastic dildo with batteries in it.
Right? Well, no, I mean the dildo is just the means to getting the Lord in there for you, because he's not, a conscious being.
Ron,
what are you doing Sunday? You might want to take this to your local church and kind of get up and say this.
You sounds like Rod needs to come preach it with the.
I got questions. I mean,
it's a legitimate question. I think you should go to the church and bring it up and listen. Make sure you have a camera or at least a cell phone going, because this is good stuff. Be interesting.
Well, I mean, I can't talk to a priest. They're not into that. I had to go to like a regular church.
Oh, I think they're into that. I think you
depends on the denomination. That's why the Catholic Church, quite often when another sect would come along and challenge the Catholic Church's authority, they would just absorb it into the Catholic Church.
All right, we're running over time. We're over time again. But tomorrow we have Erica Verber, who is another author on. Oh yeah, you say what is she? She's an author of a biography. Who's it a biography of? Go ahead. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Chilean musician and artist Violeta Parra?
I listen to her stuff all the time.
She's like the bossa nova queen, whatever. She's written a biography about this.
Bossa nova.
Yeah. Violeta
Bossa nova.
I never heard of Violeta Parra, but I am very interested in the whole bossa nova rhythm thing and the culture behind bossa nova music. So we'll talk to her.
Go to your Casio. Hit bossa nova.
See, that's not even a real bossa nova beat.
That's false advertising.
Finish inside me.
That's where my entire education on the bossa nova comes from. Is from that button and the song that talks about the bossa nova.
See, and this is why Casio should be outlawed in every country. It should be banned from putting these rhythm ideas in people's heads because it just bastardizes.
You said cats.
You bastard partners. Give me. You bastard partners.
That's tasty.
How you could the cushion is an inanimate object. By the way, for people on and wow, big numbers on the radio today. How often would it be to be reincarnated as Stephen's wheelchair cushion? The cushion is not a animated object. You don't come back as like a lampshade or a wheelchair cushion. You come back.
You could come back and be turned into a lampshade.
You could come back as a cow, and then that leather be used as a skin for a wheelchair.
All vegans come back as a head of cabbage because
no stems, only seeds.
How do I know? I don't. You're absolutely right. I don't know. I'm glad for Slaptail for calling me out on what I know.
Matt, I sent you a thing in the text.
I know. I trashed it on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, in the text? No.
Yeah, I was sent a video by an anonymous donor, and I forwarded it to you because they wanted you to have it, but they did not have your email address.
Was this okay, Slap.
爸爸，惩罚我。
Yeah, my email address is pretty simple. info@minddogtv.com, info@minddogtv.com, info@minddogtv.com.
I sent him the Bappo one.
Okay.
Because I thought that was motherfucker. I didn't want you to. I mean, if you just, I could. Well, he just heard you say it, so he has the one you want you to.
Right.
Yeah.
Ron, are you going to get your hose fixed, or are you going to milk this for another day so you can be with us again tomorrow?
Well, no, they're repairing it today. We'll see. We'll see.
Let me call your mechanic and tell him, no, it's too clogged. We can't fix it.
Tell them you want your hose made with genuine cow penis skin.
All right, I guess that's a good place to end. This is on Hose Talk. Welcome to Hose Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Hose Talk, where you learn all about hoses and leaks and things like that, and reincarnation.
Oh, my.
You guys shot me out of the water with that because I don't know. I'm feeling like why did I put myself through fucking hell thinking what a bad guy I was for 55 years until I finally rationalized, you know what? We were both fucking bad people. We were kids.
What's in the box?
Forgive yourself, damn it.
Vagina.
Tell me to forgive myself. Come on, tell me.
Fucking liar!
Forgive yourself, American. Dog. Matt, it wasn't your fault. It's not your fault, Matt.
Out of everybody, I would have thought you were the last person who would kind of help me get right about this.
No, because you know what? Because I take so much shit, I don't want other people to feel like I do, so I try to make people feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
You feel like I do. Now, what reference?
You must be the Monopoly guy.
Do you feel like I do? What reference is that, Stephen? Come on. If you don't know this, I have to come to Indiana.
Blazing Saddles.
Thank you. You got it right.
I bet you Ron doesn't even know.
Peter Frampton.
Oh, see, Ron does know. I'm wrong. I lost that bet.
Good thing. Mannequin pussy.
Now, did anybody here watch Pee Wee Herman as himself? It's a 2-part bio docudrama thing.
Again,
know
I'm
how
not
it ends.
what I
Money
said to
shot.
Ron. When you say watched, you can count me out.
The last 20 minutes of that documentary is wild. They reconstructed him with AI and brought out.
Wow, now I have to watch it.
He's making that
You know,
He placed him in a modern movie theater.
Are you aware
started
of his
recording
defense?
it.
I've talked about this before about Pee Wee's defense. Pee Wee got caught masturbating in Stephen, for your edification. Back in the day, we actually had to go to adult theaters, and people would actually sit.
Oh,
in the
I
theater.
know what happened to Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, so he got arrested for masturbating. Sheriff handcuffed him and took him in and all that stuff. And then at trial, he brought in a Masters and Johnson clinician who went over the police report. Now, the police report said he was masturbating with his left hand, and the Masters and Johnson clinician testified as an expert, saying it's impossible to make yourself orgasm using your non-dominant hand. He's right-handed. He cannot be guilty, and got him off.
That's false.
Yeah,
I thought he pled no contest.
Huh? It was before the handcuffs. The handcuffs came on after the cops saw him jerk off in the theater.
It does. All right, get up on the stand. Let's see if you can make it happen. Go.
Let me handcuff you and see if you can finish. That would be cruel.
There's going to be so
All right,
much.
uncuff his left hand.
There's going to be so much non-dominant hand masturbating today.
My understanding is that both the two court cases that he had, the one for the quote child porn, which wasn't child porn, and then the case with the masturbation, both of them he pled. Well, the masturbation one pled no contest, and I think he had to do like 100 hours, paid like $100 fine and some civil community service.
Yeah.
And the other one with the child porn, turns out he didn't have child porn on his computer, but he did plead to having obscenity on his computer.
So that idea about not being able to get yourself off with the non-dominant hand, you wouldn't be. The amount of people on this program who actually were arguing with me about that because they said they can get the most toughs off with either hand and they're not ambidextrous. People were like adamantly angry about it. Like, first of all,
it's true though, because I can do that. And I'm not ambidextrous.
Why would you do that?
It makes you a better player, man. You got to be. Matt, don't hate the player, hate the game.
So
because there's times when one hand's busy doing something else, and you gotta switch
like
it up and get
like operating the remote on your porn.
If you were playing baseball,
sometimes
let's say you were pitching, would you just say, you know what? I'm just gonna throw with my left hand, and there's no way.
Sometimes there's some of the most dominant pitchers in the MLB were ambidextrous pitchers.
And there's also time you need your dominant hand free so you can play with her and things like that. This is America, baby. We're innovation.
Land of possibilities. The land of possibilities. The land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, all right. I'll give you guys maybe tomorrow, if Ron's here tomorrow, Stephen, maybe you could give us a demonstration of you both jerking off with look each other in the eye while you're doing it with your non-dominant hand. And
I'm going to need a bigger screen for what I got.
Oh.
My screen's perfectly sized. So, all right. So, ready? We can just look at each other and just go.
I would like that. I think that would be good for ratings. Are you both left-handed? You both right-handed? You both what? What are you?
I'm right-handed.
Oh, yeah, and I do have a current dick picture on my phone, so if you need this.
I do too.
Why did you send that for the comedy thing, Ron? Why did you send that to Matt for when he was trying to gotta laugh?
Yeah, we're out of time here, and
we've been out of time.
Yeah, nobody's telling me what to do here. What am I supposed to do?
Just for the record, my wife is usually working and she cannot watch this show, but she's on vacation and she's been able to watch the last 20 minutes and she's thanking you for the quality. How did she put it? Thank you for the quality conversation about masturbation. Now I know what my husband does when I'm not there.
There you go. But with the wrong hand. And actually he doesn't even use his hand. He used Steven's hand, which is the way most people do. Anyway.
It's usually here's the thing. It's not my hand, but he usually calls me when he's doing it.
All right.
I use my wife's pantyhose because she doesn't wear them. So
I don't. I don't. I don't. That's a whole other subject we can explore tomorrow. While Ron and Steven are looking each other in the eye and enjoying each other's company, I guess we'll go down.
My wife will never watch another episode ever again, probably.
Yeah,
And
or wear pantyhose ever
and
again.
here's the thing: she's not by herself. She's with company.
Oh, do you remember?
It's going to explode.
So, Bill Lawrence, the luthier and pickup maker and string maker, right? He sat in with the band. My wife went to Virginia to visit her mother. Bill Lawrence is sitting in with the band, and he's playing. He wants me to just hit an E, man. He's gonna play. And Bill Lawrence, if you don't know, very German accent. He looks like Colonel Sanders, but has a very Hitlerish German accent. And he says, "Just hit an E." And then he starts playing Little Red Rooster. If you see my little red rooster, please send out the way. Like Hitler singing. And we get to the end of the song, and he goes, "You got to eat a lot of black pussy to play like that, boy." And I'm like, whoa, I don't even know what that means. I don't know how that equates, but you weren't that good.
Jesus.
But I said that to my wife as she was leaving for Virginia. I said, he just said to me, he said, I got to eat a lot of black pussy if I want to play like him. And I don't want to play like him. But then she was in Virginia, and she had a phone call, and
she found some black pussy for you to eat.
I came to the phone. I answered the phone, and she said, "Hey, Matt, how are you?" And I said, "You got to eat a lot of black pussy to play like that, Law." And she said, "Matt, I'm in church right now. You're on a speakerphone."
And then some black woman in the back of the church goes, "Hey, Matt, call me."
Amen.
Truth is, I'm right about all of it, and you know it.
Yeah. So I guess on that note, we could say, tell people, don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now.
It's what I call schlong division. Finish inside me.
I'm coming for you!
Cockpit, I will then fold it out.
What's in the box?
Who the hell are you?
listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.